Everybody, welcome back to another edition of Supremacy webinars. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have just returned from sunny San Diego. It was a great event out there with my mastermind group, a bunch of other more or less centered on the local internet marketing space, such as myself. A lot of great guys out there: Brian Anderson, Tom and Nick from the Sharks, Jason Bell, Ben Adkins, Jeff Hershey, Zach Anderson, Alicia Little, Corey and Ira from Mojo Global, Damian Zamora, Michael Taggart is making a comeback into the scene. He's kind of been out and about for a little bit. Chris Ormanston was also there of SitePop, really cool guy. Sat right next to him most of the day. Kevin Zickerman, guys, if you guys don't know Kevin Z, he's amazing. He's got a program called My Wi-Fi. Very cool stuff. We might introduce you to that guy here down the line. Very, very cool offer he's got, and super great dev team, man. His software and all his stuff is just amazing. So anyway, learned a lot last week, rejuvenated my blood. I feel great. Gave me a lot of really good ideas and inspiration, and really looking forward to really putting out over the next couple of months. Herc and I are going to start really putting out some really good stuff for you guys, some really good training, some more good software. So lots of good things on the horizon. I just want to make you guys aware of that, and please stay tuned. Please stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss it. We got some really, really, really good stuff that's going to help you guys out a lot. All right, so with that being said, today's webinar is going to be really, really cool too. Herc and I spent a good part of yesterday kind of just going over some of the things that we've been working on over the last couple of months, and we're kind of coming down to the finish line of some of the new techniques and the new softwares that, well, not necessarily, well, some new software, but this is more like add-ons to V3, not necessarily add-ons, but improvements to V3 and keyword supremacy, which we've been talking about a lot the last couple of months as well. But Herc's gonna show you guys some really neat stuff we were doing yesterday to just get instant rankings. I was just throwing out suggestions. Hey, let's rank in this city. Let's see if it'll go. And then within a few minutes of some tweaks and some this and some that's, and boom, first page. So we're really excited to show you guys a little bit of that stuff today. We've also got the new golden, what is it called? The golden keyword ratio in V3 that you guys want to start paying attention to. I do believe the new update is pushed out today, right, Herc?
We already had it out, but we have another update on it. I'll cover all that too.
Okay, cool. All right, and yeah, just some other neat stuff. Herc's going to show you guys today, and also we're going to be giving away some keyword supremacy credits at the end of the webinar, so that some of you guys may or may not have credits. If you have credits and if you win, you get more. And if you don't have any credits, then we're gonna, hopefully you'll win and you'll get some and you'll get into keyword supremacy tool. We just really want to encourage people to get to using that tool and understanding its value. I just can't emphasize enough. If you start understanding what that tool can do for you and your rankings and that of your clients, you're just going to be way better off. Also, we were going to go over some more insides of the project planner. That's just where this gold bar, golden, I keep messing up the name of that, but we're going to go over some more of that project planner inside of V3, and that thing just keeps getting better and better and better. And not enough of you use that. Not enough of you. I know it looks daunting, but Herc and I have done webinars on that project planner since the beginning. That project planner was in V1. That project planner was in V2. And now also that project is never going away, and it's only getting better and better and better. And I just can't stress enough, you guys really need to be using that project planner, and just maybe, I'm not going to say go back and look at all of our old training videos on that, but we have been over it and over it and over it again. We're going to go over it again some more today, and we're going to continue going over it because every time we use it to improve our pages, to add more rankings to a site, it never fails. It just never fails. So I guess that's all I have. I'll shut up now, and I'll let you take it away, Herc.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the webinar. Okay, so once again, starting off, supremacy.digital is our umbrella level company. All our products, everything about us is on this site. Front end is about us. On this page, supremacy.digital/events, will show you our upcoming training webinars or guest webinars that we have. You'll always be able to tell what we're up to and what you can attend live by going here and being able to register inside your members area. When you join for free is access to all webinar replays for all of our products, all of our trainings, all of our guest webinars, completely organized, easy to navigate, plus a bunch of free courses. Some of the older content that we used to sell is now in here for free. So just if you're not a member of supremacy.digital, just go over to that URL, join up and use it. One more note, I say this a lot on every webinars. When you guys are looking for specific items, one of the things we built into here is a keyword searchable database, an easy way to find what you're looking for within all of our webinars. So let's say you're looking through, God, I don't even know how many it is now, 30, 40 webinars for Project Supremacy, and you're looking for a specific feature and how to use it. My internet's just really slow right now because I have a bunch of shit loaded, but there's a keyword search bar. There it is right there, okay? Right here on this search topic, if you want to learn about like what Todd's saying, the project planner, okay, you just type in project planner and it will, and you spell it right, it will bring up all the points in all the webinars where we talked about the project. Whenever you click on this little icon, it'll give you the notes of specifically what we're talking about. So this is the product, the topic, and then the specific note of it. You can search exactly what you're looking for. So if it's schema, type in schema. If it's PBNs, type in PBNs. It's just a quick way to link you to not only to the webinar, but to the point in the webinar. So it'll fast forward you right to the point where we're talking about that product. So very, very easy way to find the answers to any questions you guys might have about products. Now, the stuff that we're going to talk about today will be uploaded and then searchable in here probably within the next couple of days. I put the replay up, and then our good buddy Bob Perot will come in and update the spreadsheet so that you get access to the searchable vaults here. So yeah, like Todd said today, there's a couple updates that I want to go over first. So I'm going to do three things here today, guys. Number one, I'm going to talk about the keyword golden ratio and how we found it, how we built it into Project Supremacy. I'm going to talk about our 404 monitor feature of Project Supremacy that is relatively new, and its true intention, like what it's really for. And I can just tell you right now, it's to help you guys find the live traffic that's coming to your websites that or probably even your PBNs, or if you're buying auction domains or expired domains and using them as money sites, finding out what sites out there are sending you live traffic to which pages so that you can 301 those pages to wherever you want, to your homepage or to your sitemaps. It's very, very important that you recapture that. It's just a huge signal, and we automated it with Project Supremacy. And then I'm going to like Todd said, I'm going to cover some of the stuff we've been doing with instant ranking updates, partially using Project Planner, using keyword research, and then logging into Webmaster Tools to request the updates, and how we do that, and check if if I need to make a change to a page, how does it affect my rankings? I can find that out in just minutes with this process. And I got a little slide show that I'm just going to show you. I put it together for Todd on his presentation on the weekend, but I'm not sure if he used it, but I figured today might be a good day to go over it. So there's really, really cool stuff to cover today. So let's just get started. All right, we're going to start with keyword golden ratio. So where it came from, I had a post on my feed about, if you could develop any software, what would it be? Let us know, but be careful, because if you tell us something that we like, we might develop it or whatever. And then someone said something about this, the keyword, Doug Seidel, actually, his name is, he said something about the keyword golden ratio. I'd never really heard of it. And it comes from a guy named Doug Cunnington. And his website is Niche Site Project. I'm gonna pop this into your guys' chat. Okay, so if you want to read about that, there's the link for you guys if you want to go read about it. Stay on the webinar for now because I'm going to cover it. But basically, it's just a way to find golden keywords that can rank in 24 hours really, really fast. And what it really boils down to is you have to basically know the volume of the keyword, like the search volume in Google, and then you have to know what the all in title ratio is for that keyword. So if I was doing something like best wedding planner in Houston, right, like super long tail or something like that, I would have to know the search volume. Keyword Supremacy could tell you that. Project Supremacy v3 could tell you that. But the other thing that you want to look at is the all in title result match of that. So if you type in all in title colon and then your keyword phrase in quotes in that format right there, you get 5. Okay, so what you do to get the keyword golden ratio is you divide the title all in title results by the amount of search volume, and if you get a ratio of less than 0.25, the keyword is golden, and it's likely that you can rank for this keyword if you optimize aggressively for it. Okay, so like here we are, just this stupid little spreadsheet. It's quite simple. Okay, if your search volume's 250, there's 62 results in Google for all in title, your ratio would be 0.248. If you had 500 searches and you had maybe 600 results in Google, you get a ratio of 1.2. See how it turns red? And then something like if you had 250 searches and you had 70, you get a ratio of 0.28 and it turns yellow. So this should be fairly easy to rank in the first few pages of Google within 24 hours. And you can, and we'll show you how to submit any changes you make to Google immediately. This keyword, you know, it's a little bit harder. You won't rank as well up front, but with just a little bit of optimization on the page, a little bit better of optimization. And then if needed, maybe a backlink, you'll rank really, really well. And then keywords like this, where the ratios are 1.2 or higher than 1, they'll be red, where it's, you know, a little bit harder. Now, once again, these are not rules, okay? These are guidelines to follow. I learned a lot about his keyword golden ratio, and I already discovered that you can bend the rules, but his initial formula is based on if the keyword has at most 250 searches, excuse me, and the number would be, the in title ratio would be 62.5, your ratio is 0.25. So that's the basic fundamental of this keyword golden ratio, okay? His site, he gives out basically a spreadsheet that just does what this one does. You type in the search volume, you have to have a keyword research tool to be able to get the search volume, and then you have to manually go through and find all the all in title results and then have a calculation. This divided by this gives you this. If it's under 0.25, great. And in reading his site, his niche site project website, he has just got so many case studies of successful students just building sites and getting rankings like crazy and turning it into profit. And I was like, man, the damn guy's giving away a spreadsheet, and here we are with Project Supremacy. We already pull in all in title and broad and phrase matches, and it's as simple as just doing a calculation from that point on to bring in the golden ratio for all in title. And I see Paul Gregerson asking, what's all in title? So all in title is this right here, what I showed earlier. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, it's basically saying this is the keyword that we're interested, best wedding planner in Houston, and this search operator means, because the keyword's in quotes, you're saying show me all the websites where this exact phrase in this exact order exists in the title. Okay, and then if you look at the results, there's only 5 of them, and sure enough, all 5 will have best wedding planner in Houston in the title. For instance, best wedding planner in Houston, best wedding planner in Houston. Okay, that means in title. Now, why is that important? Why is in title important? Well, we all know, guys, from basic 101 level optimization, the 4 core fundamentals of optimizing any web page is your title, your URL, your description, and your H1, right? So the people who know this, typically this kind of stuff, are SEOs. And being that the title and the URL are elements that show up on Google, those two become very important. We can control the title of what shows up in Google. We can control the description of what shows up in Google, and we can even control the URL of what shows up in Google. So being good SEOs and being good at optimization, we know that. And if we have these either in our title or in our URL, or sometimes in our title, in our URL, in our description, and in our H1, being extremely aggressive, we can rank very well, especially in local markets or in low competition keywords, and get a lot of traffic. So in the project planner, you'll notice two new columns now that are there. One is TR and one is UR. These just recently got added. If you don't see them, just update your plugin to the latest version, and this will magically appear, provided you also are using the project planner, okay? So I'm gonna dig way back, guys, into my website, Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. Now, if you aren't a member of Supremacy Digital, okay, this is kind of one of the very first guides I ever released way back in my day, that kind of got me a little bit of notoriety amongst people. The guide has been downloaded, read, and praised quite a bit. And we put it in the members area of Supremacy Digital. So if you go to courses, and the reason I'm talking about this is because the site that we're going to show you all this stuff today is poolresurfacingphoenix.com, which this free course in Supremacy Digital is literally the roadmap of how I built that site. So if you go to the rank and rent method course and you access this course, I need 25, 30 pages of me spelling out, look, the rank and rent method, what it is, why I like it, how I got successful with it, how to do it, and how I found the keyword Pool Resurfacing Phoenix in the first place, why it was a good keyword, how to rank the site. So if you want to learn about that, come and read this free course. It's really, really great. But back then, we didn't have the tools that we have today. Things are a lot better. So the cool thing is that this site was built back in 2015, okay? And you guys can do this right now. Go to Google. I want you guys to do this. We're going to type in some numbers, and then I'm going to show what you guys say, okay, live on the webinar. I'm going to take a screenshot of your answer. So I want you guys to all go to Google, and the keyword I just popped in, Pool Resurfacing Phoenix, go to Google, search that keyword, look for this website, poolresurfacingphoenix.com, and in the comments, say what number that you see that website, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, wherever it shows up in Google. Okay, in the natural results. That means after the 3 ads, after the map listings, in the natural results, where do you see Pool Resurfacing Phoenix for that keyword? Okay, let's see some numbers start coming in. I'm gonna wait until you guys start popping in some numbers before I move on. Okay, Christopher Yates, number 1, number 2 as well, cool. Frank J says number 3, John says number 1, Leroy, number 1, number 3. So, this is going to be important for a couple reasons. I'm going to take a screen capture of you guys saying where these results are coming in, okay? Just so you can see I'm not bullshitting anyone. Obviously, you guys know I don't bullshit people, but whatever. It's just good to. Tim Glynn says number 1 from the UK. I didn't catch that, Tim. But you can see, guys, nobody is saying anything lower than number 3, okay?
Yeah, 3.
There's Tampa, number 3. Edison, number 1 from New Zealand. Michael James, I'll take a new screen cap, okay? Number 3, number 1. The site, remember guys, the site was built in 2015, okay? It's still coming up. I'm just gonna wait a couple more seconds here because people are still popping more stuff in here. The point I'm trying to make, guys, is the site's still freaking ranking like amazingly well all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are, okay? Like now, even though the site, there you go. So John, Leroy, all you guys on the webinar, number 1, 3, 3, 1, 1. Also above the maps, number 1 in Australia. So the point is, yes, it's still ranking. Yes, the methodology still works, but we're getting better at this. We're getting so much better at this. So what we built in, guys, okay, so, and this is the page right here. So if you guys, give me a 1 if you've seen the project planner before, and give me a 2 if you have not seen the project planner before, please, just so I know. Good. Mostly 1s, only 1, 2.
So the 2s don't have V3.
A few more 2s. Okay, guys, for those who don't know, okay, the project planner concept is simple. Okay, let me do this. Let me collapse all. The typical way that most people optimize a website or web pages on the website is they build the website and they go to the pages or posts that they want to optimize. They install some sort of SEO plugin, right? Like Yoast is a big one, all-in-one SEO is a big one. Project Supremacy V2 or V3 is now another one. There's all kinds of them. But when you want to optimize the page, right, you go to the page and you go down to the box and you do your keyword research and yada, 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 you optimize it. And then when you're done, you go to the next page and you do it again, and you go to the next page and you do it again, right? You continually do all this shit. But what the project manager does is it allows you to, A, import all the existing pages of a website so that you see every page here. So for instance, I have 3 pages on this plan, right? And then if I open up each of them, I can see for each of these pages what the title, URL, description, and H1 is, as well as title length and description length metrics in Google. I can not only see them for each page on my website, but I can edit them. So if I edit anything here, it will update on the page itself. Okay, that's number 1. Well, it also does more than that. But number 2, the other thing you can do is create a plan for a page that doesn't exist yet, okay? And that's where this next piece comes in. The other element to this now is the keywords, okay? When we're doing optimization, we definitely want to know what keywords are we trying to optimize this page for, or what keywords are we trying to optimize this page for? What is the search volume of those keywords? What is the cost per click of those keywords? What is the competition level based on broad phrase in title in URL match? And now the new thing to show up, okay, is the golden ratio for the title, which is based on niche site projects. But we decided to take it a step further because we're experienced at SEO. We know that the golden ratio, we know that in title is important, but in URL is equally as important. That having your keyword in the URL is just as powerful, maybe more than having it in the title. I don't know, that's number 1 and number 2 for me. Title and URL are tied for the most important place to put a keyword in order to help rank in Google. So we built the golden ratio with the conditional formatting, meaning the color coding, into Project Supremacy V3. So if you pull the volume, okay, for your keywords, which is as simple as, you know, you can either add keywords or search for keywords. I won't go over that. You can watch any other project planner training to see how these groups get here. But once your groups are here, to get the volume in the CPC, all you do is select the keywords that you want, go to your actions tab and say get volume in CPC, and then next get keyword competition. And then the title ratio, the golden ratio for the title and the golden ratio for the URL will automatically populate and automatically format to red being hard, yellow being medium, and green with a gold bar, meaning you got yourself a golden ratio keyword, which means you should be able to rank on the first page as soon as it's indexed in Google, okay? If you have a golden ratio just on the title ratio, that should be good enough because that's what Doug Cunnington's golden ratio was based on. But because we're experienced at SEO, we did it for the URL ratio as well, the golden ratio for in URL metrics. If you get 2 gold bars, you should be able to get onto the first page of Google. But we're also going to take it a step further, guys, because let me try and find an example keyword. I'm going to have to load another site. There are instances. The funny thing about the golden ratio that I found was that he said as long as the keyword search volume isn't over 250, the golden ratio should apply. So like in this scenario, let's say our in titles were only 50. There was only 50 websites for whatever keyword. Let's say the keyword was, it doesn't matter what the keyword was. Let's say the keyword had a search volume of 400, but the in title was 50. The golden ratio here is 0.125. It's less than 0.25, right? But he says, well, that doesn't qualify because the search volume is over 400. And I may not have the experience that he has in the golden ratio, but I do know that his rule was based on this, okay? Meaning 62, and I have to do 0.5 to get to the perfect match of 0.25. Really, it's gonna be 62, okay? It'll get us a little bit under. Really what he's saying is anything with an in title match of less than 62 results, you should be able to rank for. Well, if my in title is 40, but my search volume is 400, why would I disqualify that, right? The ratio is 0.1, even though it has over 250 searches a month. If there's only 40 results in the title, it's less than what he suggests the search volume should be. So I don't know. I'd love to talk to Doug Cunnington. I'll just call him Dunnington. It saves some time. I'd love to talk to him and ask him about that scenario. Why would you disqualify a keyword that has less? You know, if you have 250 searches a month and 62 of them have that keyword in the title, how is that easier than something like 400 searches a month, but only 40 of them in the title? Okay, so we built in the ability to change the default golden ratio metric, okay, because some people are just a little bit smarter So by default, it's going to stick to the golden ratio that Doug suggested. But if you guys go to manage and conditional formatting, you'll see we built in the golden ratio for title and the golden ratio, the title ratio results. You could change it to suit your own, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So we're gonna have the title ratio results, the URL ratio results, and then the gold bar results as well, because of the scenario, this scenario here, where let's say, okay, so our max in Doug's thing, so this is, I'm still playing with this, so I'm going to start stuttering, so forgive me. He likes search volume max to be to 250, right, before you start ranking easy, which I think is great. Okay, so let's say this had 300, okay, and then the end title had 50. Our ratio is 0.166, which means it's color coded green. But because we exceeded his recommended search volume of 250, what we're going to do with Project Supremacy V3 is you'll still get a green screen, but you won't get a gold bar. That's it. The golden ratio gold bar is set by knowing what your maximum search volume and your maximum in title have to be before you can still have a green box, meaning you're under the 0.25, but you're not exceeding your thresholds of title, okay, which, you know, for me is going to be more like 100, okay, when I go to set mine. So for instance, say I had a search volume of 500 and in title 100, that's a 0.2, right? So in the default settings, this would not have a golden bar, but it would be green because you've exceeded the 250 search volume, you've exceeded his basic 62.5 title, right? However, the ratio still applies. So we're going to allow you to change those based on what you like for the gold bar to show up. Okay, so now if you look at this group, okay, this is the homepage for Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. There's a lot of keywords that we're targeting here, and this just happened yesterday. Let's also organize by the ranking. You can also track the ranking of your keywords as well, and you can see right here, we have ranking number 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 9, 10, 15, 23, results not in yet and not ranking yet, or not indexed yet. Normally, I don't recommend targeting more than 3 to 5 keywords per page, but I'm getting better and better at knowing how to target more keywords. I think I'm losing my point here. Oh yeah, the thing I wanted to mention. So here we see keywords with the golden ratios red, like really bad, right? Like the in title and in URL numbers are 896. 50 is okay, but I don't have the search volume to, so like yellow, red, that's a golden ratio, red. And I'm ranking the best for those keywords, even though they don't follow the golden ratio. Does anybody have a guess as to why that's happening? I just like to see where your guys' heads are at. I like asking questions. Somebody tell me why I'm ranking better for keywords that are marked harder on the golden ratio than I am for keywords that have the golden ratio. Greg says age of domain. Paul says backlinks. Bam. Well, that's part of it, Paul. Yes, backlinks are part of it. Ronald says H1 links. That's another part of it. Site age doesn't really have anything to do with it. Jason said PDN, which is basically backlinks. Okay, so the number one reason, guys, that I'm ranking better for harder keywords on this page is in the optimization of the page. Okay, the main keyword that I'm going after, nobody said EMD, by the way, they missed that. The main keyword that I'm going after is Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. Okay, it has 140 searches per month. Forget the rest of the shit. It's marked as a little bit tough according to broad phrase in title and in URL. I think it's easy. That's the main keyword I'm going after. Now, if you look at the 4 core fundamentals of optimization and how this keyword plays into what I have set up for this page, okay, let's look at each one of them. Pool Resurfacing Phoenix is the keyword. My title is Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. There's the keyword. And then Arizona, all surface types replaced. My URL, the domain, is Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. My description is Pool Resurfacing Phoenix, and then AZ instead of Arizona, and then a bunch of other information. And my H1 is Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. That's why primarily I'm ranking better for those keywords than the other ones. I'm optimized so aggressively. Nope, no duplication penalty. In fact, it's actually, you saw the screenshot there, Jana, earlier, I think, where people were saying where I ranked. Okay, this is people on the webinar telling me where they see me ranking for pool resurfacing Phoenix. There's no penalty. It's not a duplication issue. It could be an over optimization issue, but here's why it's not. I haven't repeated any of the singular words. So pool only exists once in the title. It only exists once in the URL. It only exists twice in the description, and it only exists once in the H1. Okay, I don't repeat words inside of each element, but I do repeat words or phrases from element to element, especially phrases that I'm trying to rank for. A basic fundamental of on-page optimization, especially in local markets, guys, where your search volumes are less, your competition is less, you could be more aggressive. Okay, you could be more aggressive, meaning even though I'm targeting a whole bunch of keywords, the main keyword I really care about, I got to get that in there first. It's got to be first in my title. It's got to be in my domain, either an EMD, an exact match domain, or if I don't have it, if my site was like, boogity.com, the slash would be pool resurfacing Phoenix. It would be boogity / pool resurfacing Phoenix. It's got to be first in your description and then in your H1. All the rest of the stuff after that, okay, is where I'm using the other words from the other keywords to get in there in order to rank for multiple keywords on a single page. Okay, now the easy way to do that with Project Supremacy is this little button right here. It's called the group word cloud. What this does, okay, is it takes all the keywords that you're targeting and it weights them. So pool, if I click on it, it will highlight everywhere pool shows up in the keywords that I'm targeting. And the size of it will increase the more I use it or the more I'm trying to target for it. So pool is obviously very important. Phoenix is obviously very important. Arizona, not as, it's getting less and less. You can see how that works, right? Somehow resurfacing didn't make it in there. That's probably a little bug. Resurfacing, basically guys, pool, resurfacing, and Phoenix should be three of the biggest things, okay? I'll check the bug in a second because why aren't I seeing a resurfacing? It should be in there. Let me try again. Weird. I'll get that fixed. But this tool, guys, will help you decide, other than looking at, the competition metrics, the URLs and stuff like that. This will help you decide what happens after your main keyword that you're targeting, what words you should be using after your main keyword that you're targeting. So main keyword I'm targeting, other words that I should be targeting are at the back. Okay, and then that also applies to your description and your H1 and shit like that. So I'm gonna load a different site because I'm gonna come back to this one, guys. We're gonna look a lot more at this, and I'll take a lot of questions about this. But I'm gonna load a different site. Oh, what was it? Where we were looking, I had some great examples. I think it was. By the way, guys, I'm getting back into rank and rents. I love the business model. Our tools are getting so good that rank and rents just getting easier and easier. So I'm going to start showcasing a lot of rank and rent case study sites and stuff that we're working on. So please don't do anything bad to my sites. So laser tattoo removal Edmonton is a niche that we're going after. Okay, when I'm optimizing, here's the home page. Okay, so like Edmonton, this is a great scenario. Okay, obviously with the domain laser tattoo removal Edmonton, what I'm targeting as my main keyword, this is called an EMD, an exact match domain, meaning that the keyword that I'm most concerned with going after is also the exact domain. Okay, you don't have to use EMDs. EMDs are still very powerful, but they do make it a little bit harder for optimizing for additional keywords, but you can still do it. This was an interesting scenario because Edmonton tattoo removal actually had the golden ratio on the URL and the title, and it had 480 searches a month. But my main keyword, laser tattoo removal Edmonton, is this guy right here. Try and zoom in a bit. Laser tattoo removal Edmonton, 110 searches per month. It has more in title, more in URL results, and I'm getting a red in the in title and in URL, which is really, I thought, quite interesting. It's just one of those reverse situations. That's kind of when I say to you guys, these are more a guide than a rule, but they're great guides to follow. So what I did, noting that, I have more opportunity to rank for Edmonton tattoo removal than I do for laser tattoo removal, but laser is still an important component of my keywords, right? It's laser tattoo removal. So I actually changed my homepage. This used to be optimized very aggressively for laser tattoo removal Edmonton, right? Laser tattoo removal Edmonton, right? But now I've re-optimized it for Edmonton tattoo removal, right? So that there's scenarios where things get played around a little bit, but this is why Project Planner is so good, right? It reveals this kind of information to you. It helps you see everything that you need to see in one spot. You can track the rankings of it. We just started this. You can see we're ranking 48, 66, and 71 right now. But it's also, you could do it for every page on your site, right? Rather than go page to page to page and from tool to tool to tool to tool, all to just pull data from a bunch of different sources down back into one area. Well, this is the dashboard that does it. And it's so helpful and so useful for that. So that's really the component of title, the golden keyword ratio for title and URL that I wanted to show you guys. I think I'm going to switch. I was going to show you the 404 monitor next, but I'm going to switch. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other thing that Todd and I were doing to really increase our rankings really fast in Google. And I'm going to have to log into a few things.
Yeah, while I was doing that, guys, yesterday, I just want to mention that. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Here's an example, guys. This is literally being done yesterday. Why is everyone saying yes?
Can you hear me, Herc?
Oh, someone's asking something I can't hear.
Someone say.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yes. Tell Herc I can hear him.
Can you type Herc if you can hear me? Oh, you can hear both of us? Yeah, weird.
Tell him.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Todd.
Yeah, I guess he's got it. I can't.
So you guys can hear both of us, but me and Todd can't hear each other.
I can hear you, Herc. Someone say that.
Hey, Todd, type in Skype for a second. I've never had that happen.
Okay, Jason just told you.
Yeah, I can't hear Todd.
Okay.
1 second, guys.
That's weird. Oh, you know what? Your headphones are off. Because, yeah, he can't hear you guys either. He can't hear anyone. There you go. Thanks,
okay.
Jason.
Yeah, my headphones got disconnected.
Can you hear me now?
Talking away. I can hear you now. Sorry, what were you saying? Everyone was all of a sudden just.
Yeah, I was gonna say something while you were preparing the screen about yesterday, and I just wanted to mention that, guys. Yeah, this stuff is so great. Yesterday we were just fiddling around with some another site. I can't remember which one it was, but like they were ranking on 7th page, 6th page, 5th page, and we were just making small tweaks here and there and getting them recalled, and they were jumping pages. Like some of that stuff was going from page 7 to page 5 within 5 minutes. So that's just how important, what Herc's showing you guys here about, the words and the optimization and the gold bars and all that kind of stuff, that if you just do a few things like we're talking about here, you can just see massive jumps. Maybe Herc's going to go over some of that stuff or not, but I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. You guys probably want to see. You guys probably want to see it in detail, eh?
It's just amazing. I mean, we sat here. We got so into it. I mean, we were on a call for like 3 hours yesterday, just playing with stuff and just watching pages, rankings just jump pages. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Herc.
All right. So actually, this was a starting point right here of a project planner. What I do is when I'm about to make a change and I want to I want to see how that change gets affected. As far as rankings, like if I optimize something a little different, and I want to see how it gets affected, what I do is I take a screenshot of where I currently am on the project planner. Okay, so that's this guy right here. And then typically what I do, I use a service called Gyazo.com. You guys can see it right here, Gyazo. I think it's like $10 a month or something, and I can just do unlimited screenshots. And the nice thing about it, I'll take a picture of it so I know what my optimization was. Here's my title, here's my URL, my description, my H1, here's all my keywords, plus the most important factor, here's where I'm ranking. I want to know where I was because I'm going to make the changes. I'm going to resubmit and re-rank track it and see what changed, right? So I'll take a picture, and typically what I do is I write the date down, year, month, day, so 11, and it was yesterday, 11/11, Happy Remembrance Day, and I'll just in the notes tab, I just leave a link to that description and I save it, so that when I want to come back and see, like, if things get worse, I have a reference point to get back to where I was. If things get better, who cares? It's right on. Okay. So anyways, you can see here is where we were, and I was showing Todd all this stuff, and I was like, man, I really think I could push some keywords higher, right? Because we had the golden ratio built in, and I noticed this is the exact scenario that we were talking about, where it's like, look at all, these are the golden ratios. We didn't have the gold bars built in yet. They were just color coding. I was like, look at that. I'm ranking number 3, 3, 4, 4 for the hard shit, and 5, 6, 7 for the easier shit. I should be ranking for the easier shit, right? Because it's golden ratioed. So all I had to do was look at these keywords: pool resurfacing in Phoenix, AZ, Arizona pool resurfacing, Arizona, and then look at my optimization, and it was like a slap in the face. Can anyone see and tell me right now why these keywords aren't ranking as well as these ones? I know I asked this again, but I asked it in a different way. Why were these ones ranking better than these ones? Now I'm asking you, how come these ones aren't ranking as good as the top ones? And as soon as I looked at my optimization, I was like, that's so obvious, right? These bottom 4 keywords, what's missing? Exactly, Frank J got it. Arizona, the word Arizona or the state code AZ wasn't anywhere within my optimization, right? Now, Google's smart enough to know that Phoenix is a city in Arizona, right? But why not take advantage of the explicit, keyword research? So we made a change. And here's what we did. We went into Project Supremacy V3 and we changed to pool resurfacing Arizona in the title, right? And then we changed pool resurfacing Phoenix AZ in the description, and we added Arizona to the H1. That's it. Yeah, Phoenix is also a bird. That's the semantic part of it. But more of the reason to include Arizona, right? Well, so we take away any semantic questioning. It's like, no, we're talking about the city of Phoenix, Arizona. Schema could help with that too, of course. But as far as optimization, well, why not optimize a little more for it? And then when we were doing this, I said, adding the word Arizona here and here and here, I said that might actually bring down my rankings for the main keyword. I'm de-optimizing a little bit by adding more. I'm diluting my titles, by adding more words a bit. It might hurt me. So we made the change. And here's the next screenshot. Arizona's added, AZ is added, and look at the changes. Okay, I'm gonna read these off to you guys. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Everything pushed up. Now you guys, some people might think, oh, whoop-de-doo, you moved up 1 or 2 spots. Do you guys know how much extra traffic you get for moving one keyword out of the top 3 into the top 3? You know how much extra traffic that's worth to you? And do you know how much extra traffic it's worth to you moving from number 3 to number 2 and then number 2 to number 1? It's massive. It's a massive change and a massive amount of traffic. So when you're in the top 10, any amount of movement upward is an not exponential. It's a big hit though. The higher you go, the more exponential your traffic gets, right? Number 1 gets like something like 50% of the traffic, right? So even this small amount of change is a huge help, right? Now I know I've squeezed out more optimization out of this. The next thing we did is this page over here. I have another page for repair, right? So pool repair Phoenix. And what I had initially in my title was all surface types repaired or replaced, right? And looking at this, I'm like, why am I targeting repair in my title over here when I have a page repair over there? There's something that I learned from Matt Diggity called keyword cannibalization, where you have two pages that are fighting for the same result. And I wanted to remove any cannibalization for that specific word, since I wasn't targeting anything to do with repairs on the homepage, because I have a specific page about repair there. So I de-optimized even further, right? So all surface types repaired or replaced down to all surface types replaced. So I have this about the same amount of words, but a better, just a better optimization for the words that matter, right? So small changes, guys, small changes. Now, how did I get the changes to take instantly, right? So I used to say, don't hook your shit up to Webmaster Tools, and especially when you're doing stuff like SERP tech builds, okay, where you're building mass page sites. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just any time you're building a property that goes against Google TOS with the method that you're using to build it, such as creating a bunch of pages that are basically scraped and irrelevant, well, not irrelevant, relevant content, but the methodology that you're using isn't the best. It's not a good idea, okay? But when you're building a real site like a rank and rent property for like pool resurfacing Phoenix, I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong here. I'm using real content. It's a real thing. I want to rent it to a real business. Then yes, I wanted to hook it up to Webmaster Tools, and I did. Let me get into Webmaster Tools. Okay, so I hooked my site up into the Google Search Console, and it's as simple as this, guys. Number one, okay, get a screenshot of where you are, okay, including, so basically this, the title, the URL, like this shot, and the rankings. Number two, log into your Webmaster Tools, inspect the page that you make the changes on. Well, I guess it was the home page, right? You can see I've done a lot here yesterday. These are all the stuff that we were doing, and I'll go over all of them. Okay, so number two is you just put the URL in that you want to update. Okay, and then this initial report is just going to tell you whether it's in the index or not, right? But what you need to do is test the live URL. So what you're telling them to do is, like, even though you have a version in the index, I'm more concerned with the new changes I've made than what you guys currently have in the index. I want it to change now, right? So what you do is you click on test live URL, and they'll go visit the page immediately, right? And index, sorry, they won't index, they'll check for any new changes that you have, including the title, the URL, the description, the H1, and anything you've done to the content of the page as well. And this takes like, I don't know, 2 minutes, like 1-2 minutes. So when it's done, what you do then is you click, there's a button behind it. I can't show you right now because it's running, but then what you do is you click view crawl page once it's done. There we go. Okay, and what you're looking for is the title. Like, if you change the title, did the title change here? Is the live page and the changes that I made to the page, okay? So typically it's gonna be in your title, description, URL, H1, shit like that. Did it change here? If it did, and you're happy with it, next, request indexing. Okay, I'm not gonna click this button because I don't wanna request a new index, but the final step is, well, it's not the final step. The final step in this window is request an indexing, okay? And that, you might have a reCAPTCHA come up, you know, choose the fire hydrants, or show me the crosswalks, or the palm trees, or the guy with his butt sticking out in the corner of the street. You request the indexing and it's done. Then what it's done is you got to wait a few minutes and go over to, I like to do this in an incognito window. You go to google.com/NCR, or you go to google.co.uk, or you go to google.ca. Just get out of where you're normally at. Okay, and google.com/NCR, if you type in -NCR, means no country redirect. It's like the base level engines of Google. Okay, and then you do a site search. Excuse me. And you see, did my Arizona take? Is Google now indexing the new thing that I requested, right? And if they are, and you can see here that yes, they are. There's my AZ, there's my Arizona in the title. It happens that fast, right? Now, Google's a machine. and they have the new page in the index. So the rankings might have changed. So the next step now is, okay, I've optimized it. I've submitted the new optimization to Google. Now it's time to check my keywords that I care about and where those rankings are. So all you got to do for that is choose the keywords that you want to see the new rankings for, right? And there's kind of two ways to do this, and I'll kind of show you. Here's the app side of Project Supremacy. We're going to go over the rank tracker. Okay, and I'm going to type in pool because we're going to go to that site. Okay, and you're going to have the rankings that you had already there. So what you want to do is, if you want to get rid of them, you can just click on them and then delete those keywords. Then go back to your project manager, okay, and select the keywords you want to get the new rank tracking for, right? And just go actions, track keyword rankings, and then be very specific about which Google engine you're getting in. Okay, I've got highlights on, so normally the keywords will show up properly, but I got some weird highlight issue going on here. Since this is pool resurfacing Phoenix, the search engine that matters to me. Did I just get cut off? Can you guys still hear me? Weird shit's happening on my. Can anybody still hear me? Okay, all good, thank you. Okay, so google.com and then space United. Thank you. Okay, so United States English, because that's the search engine that matters to me. Google.com, United States English, and the location United States. My keywords would be up here, and I'd submit the keywords to the rank tracker. That process, I mean, it takes a few seconds, and then over here, you just sit here and type in your URL, and then once it's loaded, you know, I just kept pressing enter, waiting for the changes to come in because it has to go grab the rankings. And then once they're in, you click this little button, and it'll say update the project manager. That's what the synchronization button. It says force the new changes here over to here to make sure. It'll happen after 24 hours anyways. We have that automatic, but you can force the instant update right away. So once you see the changes are in, you can force it back to over here. And doing all that, guys, was what we did within minutes. The whole process took 15 minutes, and we updated our keywords. Now, I did it in steps too. I don't just do this once, guys. I'll make multiple changes and I'll test multiple things. Okay, so for instance, the first change we made was adding Arizona, right? And the next change we made after that was removing repaired. I wanted to see if removing repaired helped. And it's funny because I'm missing a screenshot. There was actually 3 screenshots. I think I started here 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I was like 2, 3, 3, 5, 6, 7, but then I de-optimized for repair and I bumped up again. So you could do it multiple times, right? You can test a single element. You can test like just a title change, or you can test like you can do it as much as you want. It's just going through that process that I just showed you of make the change, save it, request the live version, and then request the indexing. Make sure it's showing in an incognito window. Make sure the changes are up, and then just test the ranking again, right? And you can get it changed. Now, optimization, on-page optimization. I want to put together, I want to show you this little slideshow now, guys, because I did more than this. Like I said, I'm getting back into rank and rent, guys, because I just love it. I love how easy it is. I love the fact that Todd and I have these tools now that make things so much easier. I've hired some people to come and help me do a lot of the work and training them. So I put together this little thing. I'm going to show you guys this now. Now, optimization, I always teach it like, you know, the 4 core fundamentals are obviously, number 1 is keyword research. Okay, I'm not going to go over that. You can watch Keyword Supremacy webinar or watch another Project Planner webinar, how we can do keyword research right here. But after keyword research, once you know the keywords that you are trying to rank for, there's really 2 pieces after that. There's the on-page changes to your 4 core fundamentals, so title, URL, description, and H1. But the next part is content, like the content that's actually on your page, right? And I tested some stuff. So let me just let me grab this little presentation and I'll put you through it. It'll be me talking still. It's just like a quick couple slides. How powerful is on page case study? Okay, so yeah, Lois, we'll have a replay in the Supremacy Digital members area. Okay, I've never used this, but anyways, so how powerful is on-page, a case study? So like I was saying, the two elements of on-page optimization are obviously the on-page optimization itself, okay, title H1, URL, description, but then the content optimization. That's still on your site. You're still in control of it. And what I mean by on-page optimization is on-page means the things that you can do to the page that you're optimizing, right? You have full control over it versus off-page is like more like backlinks. So on-page optimization involves title, URL, description, and H1. And keyword research is obviously part of that, but we're not going to cover that. Okay, so on-page optimization using Project Supremacy V3 Planner. PSv3 Project Planner allows you to optimize every page of a website from one dashboard, just like you saw me do. Okay, but let's take a look at a single page. So this isn't for you guys. I kind of already went over this. I'll move faster. Okay, notice my target keyword, pull resurfacing Phoenix is there. Main keywords optimized. I have a bunch of additional keywords, yada, yada, yada. Project Planner also includes target keyword search volumes, broads, and then the new and golden ratio. Okay, so what happens when a noob optimizes a client site this way? Like I said, guys, I've been getting into rank and rent, and I hired a girl that was a website designer to teach her optimization using Project Supremacy so she can design websites for me, build them, optimize them, and then we'll rent them out. Okay, so meet Trish. This is a girl that I hired. She was hired by me to optimize my rank and rent site. She's very new to SEO. I taught her what I just taught you in a little more detail, a little more methodical. Okay, I taught her PSv3 Project Planner style optimization in about 10 hours. And she has design clients that she's practicing these skills on, right? So she did it to a site, okay? So what was her results like when she did it? Literally too many keywords ranking for 3 pages. She optimized 3 pages of her client's site. It's about a 40-page website. She did it to 3 pages, 23 keywords at number 1, 10 keywords on page 1, 9 keywords on page 2. Her client is happy as fuck. He's never had this much results. And I know the image is really small and stuff, but you can see here, guys, it's Project Supremacy V3 is just full of page 1 rankings. Some of the keywords are also national level competition keywords, meaning they don't have Edmonton in them. Her client's in Edmonton. It's just like their service without a location, and they're ranking Canada-wide. Part 2, after the fundamental optimization, title H1, is content optimization. So that involves comparing your page against the top 10 for the surplus and deficits of other on-page elements in your content for a specific keyword. So for instance, if my main keyword was pool resurfacing Phoenix, the other things that you can do to a page to optimize it for are things like H tags, bold words, images, alt tags, stuff like that. Additional LSI keywords on your content. But the smartest thing to do is look at what do the top 10 have for that keyword. Like if you type that keyword into Google and you were to analyze the top 10 websites, what do they have? So you guys have heard of POP, you've heard of Quora, and recently there's a new one called Surfer SEO that's out there. That's pretty awesome. We've been testing it. So we use Surfer SEO to analyze a page against the top 10 for our main keyword. Okay, and it said things like this: compared to the top 10, use these keywords more in your content, use H1s less in your content, right? So there's a lot. The result of that, guys, pool resurfacing Phoenix, we did the content optimization before we ever did the Project Supremacy, the other stuff, and it just smoked. Like we brought tons of keywords. These are the changes. So you can see 2019, September 10th to August, no, these dates are weird. Oh, this is November and this is October. Yeah, November 8th and October 9th. Okay, from 4 to 2, 5 to 3, 11 to 3, 10 to 4, 10. This is just by re-optimizing the content based on what the top 10 told us to do. We moved stuff up a lot. And remember when I said those keywords were like 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6? After that, I saw the 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6 is when we did further tweaking to the 4 fundamentals and moved the needle even further. All of that was done without backlinks. Okay, 19 out of the 20 keywords moved up instantly with that. And I did the same process. I optimized, actually, to be fully honest with you. The content that I grabbed, I just typed in like how to resurface a pool. I ran it through Spin Rewriter. I grabbed the new Spin Rewriter content, and then I used that, and then resent it to Google. So it wasn't probably the best way to do it. I'm very impatient, but it still worked. It still worked so freaking good. 19 out of the 20 keywords moved up as soon as I indexed the new changes in Google. 8 keywords moved from page 2 to page 1. So what are we doing about it? Meaning Todd and I, well, we're developing SEO surfer style analytics into keyword supremacy top analysis. Okay, it's so good. It's just so good. And I've done it multiple times now that we're like, well, we have the software and the development team to be able to do this. SEO surfers, I think $60 a month. Keyword supremacy is a credit-based system where you can do these lookups based on credits. So we're building it into keyword supremacy. And I know anyone that's been on any of our past webinars has probably seen us talking about it. And trust me guys, every day we're developing it further and further. And it's right here, okay? It's top domains. It's coming into keyword supremacy. So you'd enter your main keyword, pool resurfacing Phoenix, right? Or whatever. Okay, you can see here's all the keywords that I've been running, the little cards, right? You enter your keywords, it pulls in the top 10 results. It tells you each of these elements, like the title length, the description length, the H tags, how many of each type of H tags, images. It gives you the average of the top 10, the median of the top 10, okay? And then you enter your URL that you want to compare against the top 10, and that will be loaded right here. This is still in developmental stage, but it's coming, okay? And then the audit, what you'll do when you click on the audit, will compare your page against the average and the median of the top 10. Then all you have to do is fix your surpluses and your deficits, meaning, you know, if they have a description length of the average description length for the keyword HDD Edmonton is 130. You should be somewhere in the range of 130. Even though this guy's ranking #1 with 72, you should get to 130. And it just works, guys. It just works because I've been doing it with Surfer, analyzing the top 10, all the other elements, okay? It's moved the needle so much. And this is just all on-page optimization stuff and stuff you can do with Project Supremacy v3 and a Webmaster Tools account and a little bit of knowledge. Okay, so just crazy stuff. Just crazy stuff. Now, I want to show you guys another trick since we're on the optimization deal. This is where Todd said to me, he's like, dude, what about like all the other places in Phoenix, like Arizona? Because one of the keywords we were ranking for after we did the Arizona, we optimized, we added Arizona into the title and into the description and shit. We noticed that Arizona pool resurfacing, which doesn't have Phoenix, hopped up to #5. You guys can go to Google right now. Arizona, which is the state, pool resurfacing. It's not Phoenix anymore, it's Arizona. I'm showing as #1. We moved that number all the way up to #1 for the whole state, right? Does it matter? Well, according to Project Supremacy v3, about 50 people a month are searching statewide. So yeah, it matters. Why would, it's really cool, but a statewide keyword just by re-optimizing for that. Then Todd said, well, what about like other areas? How can you do this for other areas? And that's such a common question, you know, that I get. Well, what if I have a service provider in multiple areas and shit like that? And do I do a page per area? You know, how do I handle this? And you'll notice Arizona, what I did was I went to Google. I was like, okay, Todd, let's do a little test. Top 10 most populated cities in Arizona, right? Well, I might as well try to rank for those. So I just went and got a list. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Samuel Johnson says he sees it as #5. Yeah, you're going to see it in the top 10, probably the top 5 guys. So all I did was went and I grabbed all the top 10 most populated areas in Arizona, the cities, right? So why? Well, because I want to rank for pool resurfacing everywhere, even though this is where I said earlier, guys, that when you have an EMD, meaning an exact match domain, things can get really tricky. So for instance, my keyword or my EMD is pool resurfacing Phoenix. It sounds like I'm only concerned with fixing pools in Phoenix, right? Well, luckily for me, most of the top 10 most populated cities in Arizona happen to be suburbs of Phoenix. But there are other ones like Tucson that are not in Phoenix. They're outside of Phoenix. Mesa is in Phoenix. Phoenix is in Phoenix. Chandler's in Phoenix. Scottsdale is in Phoenix. Gilbert's in Phoenix. So most of them just are subsections. Peoria is kind of outside of Phoenix, but most of them are subsections. But, well, might as well optimize those for two, but I don't want to create a bunch of new pages and new content for the same topic, pool resurfacing in Phoenix. I don't want to create a bunch of new content for this shit because it just take forever. It's like 10 extra cities. So how do you do it quickly? Since I build my rank and rent sites using WordPress pages, okay, I had to add a new plugin to my site. Add new plugin, or I'll go to my plugins and I'll show you the exact plugin. But what it does is it allows me to add tags, WordPress tags, to my pages. By default, WordPress allows you to add tags to your posts, but I didn't want it on my posts because I don't have any posts. I wanted to add tags to my pages. So what did I do? Two things. I grabbed a list of all the most populated, cities in Phoenix. I used Project Supremacy v3 to check if there was any traffic, if it was even worth going after. Well, actually, that's the first thing I did. I grabbed the 10 cities, I added them to the project planner. So I'll show you step by step my thought process here. Get the 10 most populated cities because the most populated cities should have the most search volume. Added them, okay, went like this, add new keywords, added my list of 10 cities with the word pool resurfacing attached to them. So pool resurfacing Chandler, pool resurfacing Mesa, Gilbert, Arizona, right? Pulled the volume, the metrics, the phrases in the entitles, and here they are. Let me grab them. Tempe, Surprise, Scottsdale, Tucson, Peoria, Mesa, Glendale, Gilbert, Chandler. Okay, and there's the rankings, 9, 10, not. Some of them, remember I said some of them aren't indexed yet. Maybe we'll do an indexing live on this way. But number 6, number 10, number 9, number 15, number 23, number 10. They had search volume, some of them didn't. Some of them had gold ratio, some of them didn't matter. I was like, cool. Some of them were like 10, some of them 50, 30. I was like, cool, it's worth going after. It's worth going after. Okay, so because I was using pages, and I just see Walt asking why are you using pages versus posts? Because when I'm building a website, I like to think posts are basically for a blog, blog post, web page, right? Those words exist and they make sense. So posts are just for adding to a blog, and pages are for actually building a web page or a website with pages. So I use pages when I build rank and rent sites. But for this instance, I wanted to add tags. So I added a plugin to the website that allowed me to add tags to my pages. And then I just took that home page. Okay, I'll go back to the page, the home page, the resurfacing home page. Since I'm targeting resurfacing on the home page, then I just added tags to that I want to say post, but it's not a post, it's a page. I just added tags. Hang on. Because I'm running GoToWebinar, things load a little bit slower for me. So there you go, guys. You can see the tags right here, right? I'll show it in a second. Walt or Samuel, he asked which plugin did I use. So there they are. I just added the tags, and adding a tag is just adding the word. And I'll show you why this is important, guys, adding these tags. So the plugin that I use, let's go there first. So I added the 10 cities, pool resurfacing. On the pool resurfacing page, I added tags for all the other cities, okay? The plugin I used is called Tag Pages. That's it, super simple. It just allows you to add tags to pages. Now, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Number one, I wanted to target all the resurfacing keywords in other cities, right? And I didn't want to, number one, I didn't want to make new content for the same subject matter for all these extra cities. It just seems really redundant, repetitive, and stupid. I already have content. I already have great rankings on the homepage. I just wanted to rank for more cities. Well, you can't just add a bunch of cities to your title and your description and shit like that. And I can't build a bunch more pages to get the URLs to show up, because then I'm just duplicating content. It's just a freaking nightmare. So tags is the way to do it, because what a tag does is a tag builds a URL structure in Google that looks like this. Okay. Pool resurfacing Phoenix / locations, pool resurfacing Chandler. Okay, so really all it is it's the home page, but it just adds a tag to the home page based on what I told the tag to say. So there's a couple of important elements here, guys, for this. Number one, you have to go to your permalink settings in WordPress, go to settings, and then go to permalinks. Notice how my thing says pool resurfacing Phoenix locations and then pool resurfacing Chandler. The idea of getting a tag attached to the homepage is to create an indexable URL in Google that can rank, right? I couldn't do it. I'm going to stumble a little bit with my words here, but just bear with me. It creates a new, even though the page is the same, it just creates a new URL and adds a little bit of the tag to the top. Now, with Project Supremacy v3 installed, it's pretty important. But the one thing you want to do is, by default, WordPress, if you add a tag to a post or a page, will have a URL structure that looks like that, okay? It'll say tag, and then it'll say the tag. So we need to change that. That's ugly. That sucks. So what I do is I go into settings, permalinks, and in the tag base, I just change it to say, instead of saying tag, say location, because it makes sense, right? What other locations do we work in? So that was step one. Step two is, once I created the tags, I kind of had to control what they say, right? So there's a couple of ways you can do it. Number one, if you go into your pages and go into your tags, and then you click on the edit of a tag, so I'll do that right now. Okay, so let's look at pool resurfacing Chandler, and I click on edit. The nice thing about Project Supremacy v3, okay, so this is the name of the tag, the actual, like the name of the tag, but it also shows, like, on the page where the name shows up is right here. Okay, so whatever I say right here is going to show up right here. So it's important because it comes in H1. Now the slug is this part. What is it going to say in the URL? Now you can change the slug to anything you want. Okay, pool resurfacing Chandler, and then a description. But the other element to this little URL, okay, is that tag pages actually come, when you have Project Supremacy v3 installed, come with the ability to edit the title and the description of the page that's a tag. Even though this is the home page, like, if I'll try to explain this to you guys in a way that I hope you'll understand. This, it's still the same page, right? So you can see, as pool owners in Arizona, we all know, and then if I go to the tag page, okay, as pool owners in Arizona, we all know, it's the exact same page, but it's a tag page. But because we have Project Supremacy v3 installed, because it creates a new URL, it also creates the ability to control the title and the description of it. And now you'll notice I left them blank, okay? But I can control it to say anything I want. And then what do I do when I make the necessary changes that I want for each tag? So I can have, man, it's kind of like the project planner. If I want to control the URL to read more like, you know, location / Chandler, I just change the slug. If I want to change, you know, the title and the description of the page, I would do it here. Now, the reason I left everything blank is because once I got all my URLs finished and done and uploaded, I went through, obviously, the next step, like I showed you guys before, the search console, uploaded everything, and then saw where I was ranking. And I was ranking on page 1 for a bunch of it. And it's like, well, this is weird, because let me show you guys some weird shit here. I thought it was really weird because of this. Let me try and close some windows here. so I can get organized with my thoughts. One of the mistakes I thought I was making when I first did this and looked at it was obviously the URL optimization, or the slug, okay? My domain is poolresurfacingphoenix.com. My tag base is locations, and then my tag is pool resurfacing Chandler. The word pool resurfacing appears twice in the URL, which I teach you guys not to do. I think it's a little bit over optimized. To change that, all I'd have to do is go back to that tag, edit it, and just shorten the slug, right? Done. Save, right? Update, save, yada, yada, yada. So let me do this one. I'll do it what in a way that I thought would be really, really clean. So I'll update this. So I'll go into the tag. Okay, so my name is going to be Pool Resurfacing Chandler. I might as well add AZ or Arizona to that, right? And then with SEO title, well, my main keyword is Pool Resurfacing. Are we in Chandler? Yep, Pool Resurfacing Chandler, Arizona. And then my description, well, what am I going to do with my description? Well, I'm going to actually use the same description as I did on the home page, except I'm going to change the location. So I'm going to go to my homepage description and copy and paste it. Are you guys still with me? I'm going to answer a bunch of questions later, but like, are you getting the gist of everything here? Okay. Okay, so there was my homepage description, right, for the resurfacing topic. So now on the tag page where I'm going after Chandler, Arizona, I'm going to have the same description, but what am I going to change? Well, not much, except the word Phoenix. I'm going to change to Chandler, right? And I'll just update it. So now what I have, this to me is a very responsible, very optimized setting for the tag for pool resurfacing in Chandler. I'm borrowing the content from the homepage by using a tag. I'm creating a new URL, a new indexable URL by using a tag, and using Project Supremacy v3, I'm able to control the title and the description of the new property that's borrowing the content and the relevant topical content from the homepage, right? A lot of tick boxes getting checked off here, a lot at one time. Okay, so now let's go look at what that looks like. Okay, so here's the old one, but now we got rid of this for the slug. Here's the new one. Okay, pool resurfacing Chandler, Arizona, and then notice still the homepage content. It starts getting a little more confusing to Google because it seems like, you know, it's still Phoenix, whatever, but hey, this comes first. The URL has Chandler in it, and if we look now at the, I press Control U to look at what Google's going to see. There's my title, Pool Resurfacing Chandelier, okay. Trying to zoom in. Okay, so there's my title, guys. Holy shit, that's huge. Okay, slow down, boy. Okay, there it is. Nice title. Here's my description. Pool Resurfacing Chandler, Arizona, right? So now I have a new indexable URL. Now, how do I get the URL indexed? Simple. Take my new indexable URL into Google Search Console, retrieve the data from the Google index. Now, what I'm doing, I'm going to actually do this. Okay, so notice URL's not on Google because we haven't done this one before. Now, I'm going to do this for you guys right now because this is the whole process we've been talking about actually live in action now. Let me do this, Control U. Get back to normal, sorry, Control 0. We had already done this for the shit version of Chandler, and you can see we were ranking number 9, okay? It has 10 searches a month, not many. Didn't have a golden ratio, and we were ranking number 9 without any optimization. We had bad slug optimization, we had bad name, we didn't even take advantage of Project Supremacy v3, okay? I just did it way better. I just did it to way more responsible. Now, here's how we check if that is worth doing. URL's not on Google. Well, I need to test the live URL. If the URL's not on Google, okay, Google, can you see that it is there? So go test the live URL, right? Which is this. And remember, this takes a little bit. So let me just pause for a second and take a drink real quick. Just kidding, I was vaping. And I'll close some tabs too while I'm waiting. And we're gonna go to our rank tracker app inside, and then I'm gonna look for the Chandler keyword because I'm gonna wanna take note. There it is. I'm gonna leave it there for now, okay? It's kind of boring when you're sitting here waiting. Oh, done, okay. URL is available to Google. The URL can be indexed and it has no problems, okay? If there were problems here, usually the problem would be like the canonical URL is bad or something like that, but we have no problems, great, right? View tested page, remember, always check. Pool Resurfacing Chandler, Arizona is my title. That's what we care about. My meta name description is Pool Resurfacing Chandler, everything good, right? Google index it. So now we go to Google index. Oh shit, I lost it. I gotta go back and do it again. Sorry guys. I don't have to do the thing though. The live test, because we know. Ugh. I don't even know what I clicked on there. I know the live test saw what we needed it to see. Okay, so we already did the live test. Next step, request indexing. Testing if the live URL can be indexed. I guess that's the same thing as the live URL test. So I didn't actually know that. Usually I test live URL first. So you can request indexing. It's going to do the same thing anyways. And then we're going to check if changing the tag optimization, I guess that's what this is called, tag optimization, right? If doing a better tag optimization is going to improve our ranking for Pool Resurfacing Chandler, which currently is ranking number 9. But now we have a new URL. And once this is done, we request the indexing. And while we're waiting for that, I have a favor to ask of you guys. I'm going to put a post in here right now because I want to re-energize this group because I'm going to start doing a lot more in-depth trainings like this because I'm getting back to SEO. I'm going to get back in the trenches. Oh yeah, please go donate to this kid, guys. Oh my God, I was just last night reading about this little 3-year-old boy who's in the hospital and he's barely hanging on. So I donated to him and I shared it in the group. If you could just go donate to him. I sat there and just cried last night because I have a 1-year-old boy and I know the pain they must be going through. So I'm glad I remembered that. I've been following his updates, just breaks my heart. Anyways, if you can donate, that would just make me feel great. Just comment on today's training, okay, on this post that I'm about to put up. And all the reason I'm asking you to do this, guys, is because this is the first, I haven't gone this deep in a long time. And I just want to get the group re-energized. I'll fix that later. Okay, there's the post. I'll put the URL right in your, if you're not in the group, join the group. And the training's not over, by the way. Oops, I just sent that to Walt. Sorry, Walt, I didn't mean to send that to you privately. There you go, that's in the group. All right, URL inspection is probably done by now. Right, no, it's not. Are you serious? Okay, there we go. Request indexing. I don't know why that is doing that. Anyways, the idea here, guys, you know what I'm, at this point, you know what I'm doing, right? I re-optimized, I changed the URL in the slug, I re-optimized the tag, I brought it back to my webmaster tools, and I'm indexing the changes, and then I'm just gonna send that keyword back into the rank tracker to see if it improved. So everything, let me sum up where we've gone today for you guys, okay? Number 1, optimizing with the project planner, with all this data at your fingertips is just, it's so much easier. You got the word cloud, you've got your keywords here, you've got all your metrics for your keywords. We now have the golden ratio for both title and URL. You can do all your pages. You can optimize all your title, URL, description, and H1s for all your pages from one spot. You can add keywords here. It's just an easier way to do things. But then when you do make changes and you are learning about aggressive optimization for your main keyword, with adding your other keywords into here, using your tags, sending it into Webmaster Tools, requesting a rewrite or a reindex, and then checking the ranking changes by using a capture of where you were to where you are. Good things can happen very, very fast. And that's all without backlinks. And you could do it as many times as you want. I think I re-optimized this page like 3 times in a row yesterday, and I kept boosting up my numbers, right? I kept boosting up my numbers. Now, when I was with Trish, that other girl that she's optimizing her company's website, I was doing the same thing with her. I think her aunt's on this call actually, which is really cool, or her mom or stepmom. Hi. Anyways, guys, when we were doing it, we just kept tweaking harder and harder. I'd see a keyword or a single word, it's like, oh, we're not ranking quite as well for that. Can I work it in to either the title, the URL, the description, the H1, or maybe more in the content, put a couple bold words. We actually did that with her. There she is, Barbara Henson. How's it going? She's the first time on the webinar, I believe. Guys, we were taking the extra keyword and putting it into an H1 tag in her content, bolding it, into the content, resubmitting it to Google Webmaster Tools, rechecking the rankings, and she just absolutely murdered it for her client by doing all this stuff without ever building a backlink. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if you guys can learn the art, and this isn't art, guys, let me tell you that right now. This isn't math and science, it's an art form, because you have to kind of get good at visualizing. There's a lot of words in here, and there's only so many places that you can fit those words, but you can still rank like I'm showing here, guys. We're ranking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 keywords on one page. 11. The better you get at practicing this, the better you're going to do for yourselves, for your clients, and it's easier. It's just easier in the project planner. What the hell is going on? Okay, indexing requested. Got it. Thank you. Now, did we do good? Did we do good? Okay. New incognito window. I'm going to go over to google.co.uk, and you might be wondering, why am I going over to the UK? I don't know. I don't have any facts to back this up, but I noticed when I was doing site checks without going into incognito and I was just at google.ca, which is my default, shit wasn't showing up. But when I went to google.uk or Google Japan or some other Google engine way far away from my area, and I was in incognito, it showed up right away. Then I would go to my area and check it again, right? Then I know it's indexed in Google. Now, did we do good? Guys, search this keyword in Google. I don't know. I don't know, okay, if it's going to work or not. I want you guys, we're going to do a live test right now. I'm sending you the keyword. Search that keyword in Google for me, please, and tell me if you see pool resurfacing Phoenix locations Chandler on the first page and in what result. I'll check it on my end. Not a huge keyword. Not a lot of search volume, but to a client, number 5, Philip Davis. Number 6 for me. Number 5 for Frank J. There you go, guys. Number 5 in incognito, Walt says. Number 3 in New Zealand, Michael James. Number 5 in St. Louis, Greg. Number 4 in Kansas City. Number 3 in the UK, Paul Wood. Number 1 in organic for John Reith. Number 6 in Costa Rica. Number 3 in the UK, Stephen Last. Number 4 in Kentucky from Grant Fox. Number 4 in Jacksonville, Florida from JoJo. Number 5 and number 6, Christopher Yates. Number 6 in California, Sam Luca. Here you go, guys. I'm taking a screenshot of you guys doing that. Number 4 in the UK, Tim Glynn. They're still coming in. Does that make sense to you guys? See how fast that is? And I'm telling you guys, it's worked every single time. Great question. Walt says, how sticky are these rankings? Great question, Walt. What I've seen is I've seen a dance. Does anyone know what the Google dance is? Or heard of the Google dance? Sigh. Oh, Janice says all too well. Yeah, they dance. They definitely dance. Well, the keywords that I've been doing this to for on other sites, I've seen them debut very, very well and then fall and then come back down. Yeah, exactly. Tim's saying up and down and up and down. But I'll tell you this, guys, anything that I've seen debut well that falls comes back if you don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Let it dance. You've got it. Okay. If like with you guys showing me what you just did, let me go back to Giazzo. Okay. Let me explain this. This is just a theory. I'm not crazy or anything about Google patents and algorithms and shit like that, but I do have a theory. This is you guys checking on all kinds of different search engines on all kinds of different locations, and I'm ranging anywhere from number 1 to number 6 for that brand new indexed result. Okay, now Google really, they have to serve, Google's a machine, right? They follow a set of rules. They have a set of things that they use to rank websites. These results are very pure because they're very new. This is where Google believes this result should be. When you first send it in, it's in the index. People all over the world are seeing it, some number 1 to number 6. What that's telling me is that Google, by their initial set of rules, without any other factors at play, love it. If this was all number 30, number 40, number 50, that tells me it's either too competitive or Google doesn't love it, right? It's one of those two things. You either done a bad job at optimization, or if you're number 40, 39 people have done a better job in your area of optimization, right? But if this is a pure result right now that just got out on Google, and this is before anything else, any time, any spider shit, Google loves it. So if I leave it alone, it's going to come back. All right. So I'm not worried about it. I don't play with Google dances. Now, how sticky, one other thing I've noticed, sites that I have backlinks pointing to, they tend to do better. They're sticking better and less dancey, because they just have that other level of trust, right, built in through backlinks. So everything I've just shown you guys today with on-page optimization and this tagging thing, you know, where and let me I can like open you guys' minds up. So everything I've just shown you today with this title and tagging is all based on page optimization. Building backlinks afterwards, you can build backlinks to tag URLs like what we just did here, and you can help them. You can help the authority of a tag URL just by building backlinks to it. And it won't take many backlinks, guys, because if you're already ranking that good with just pure on page, you're kicking ass, right? Now let me open up some more thought process here. Let's go back in the project manager. Okay. 2 of my pages have disappeared, by the way. I don't know what happened. Maybe I moved them into the site audit. Yeah, my cleaning group went somewhere. I had a cleaning group as well. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Not sure where it went. I might have deleted it by accident. But now pool resurfacing, since I had a page for pool resurfacing, a lot of people ask me, I kind of covered the tagging and the URL and the optimization with V3 of a tag page. And that's based on a service. A lot of people ask me what happens when I have multiple services in multiple locations. And what I just showed you guys with the tagging, the tag URLs, I don't have to just do it for the resurfacing group. I could do tag URLs for the repair group and for the service group and the cleaning group that has disappeared on me. Steven says, but for a human visitor, won't they be cautious about sending their details given that there are multiple titles for different locations and the main text won't be for their city? It depends how good of a job you do with your website. Like say somebody that's research, like for instance, look at this page. Say somebody who's living in Chandler, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona, right? Or let's say Chandler was even outside of Phoenix or near Phoenix, and they were looking for pool resurfacing, and they clicked on the result from Google and got to this site. What on this page do you think is going to make them feel like, oh, no, you know, just because it says resurfacing Phoenix here and Chandler here, like that won't matter. Like if your call to action, and mine's actually pretty weak, your phone number is displayed really well, you should be fine. You can also play with other things, guys. There's all kinds of ideas. Notice I have tags showing up on the side. Let me show you something. Because your question's a good one, Stephen, and I like questions like that because really though, what I typically like to do to you is answer your question with another question. Yeah, like edit the content, or like what would you do is like how I like to answer that question. If that's what you're worried about, how would you fix it, right? How would you fix it? I know how I would fix it, but I always want you guys to be able to like think for yourselves. But like simple thing that I could do right now, that if I was looking at this page, is like, oh, this kind of looks fucking weird, right? So let's go to appearance, widgets, and let's get rid of it. So page sidebar, tag cloud, get out of there, right? Go back to the page, Control F5. Still looks a little weird, but there's widgets you can add that probably help with, what do you call it? Since this is a tag page and it's borrowing from the home page, it's borrowing the content just with new titles, like just basically new header. There's probably plugins that you can add to help like with your design and shit like that. But right now, I don't see this as a big deal to a visitor, them getting here and being like, oh, I'm not calling this, it's sketchy, you know? Michael said, what was the plugin for the tags on the pages? You know what, let's go to question and answers now, guys. I think I'm done. I didn't cover the 404 monitor a bit, but I'll cover that on another training. This was a huge training. Let me show you that, and just start asking questions now, and I'll just start answering them because we've been on almost we're closing in on 2 hours here.
Almost, yeah. You guys hear me?
Yep.
You guys glad you showed up today? Yeah, I knew you guys were gonna like today. After seeing what we saw yesterday, they're like, we're gonna have to spit this out tomorrow. So yeah, it's really great stuff. And I really hope you guys focusing in on that project planner and just see how powerful it is and how much better it's getting. I think the gold bars are really cool because it just gives you that visual of, yeah, okay, let me go after that. And, you know, believe it or not, you know, we're a big believer in you know, taking one page and ranking it for multiple keywords. And you'll see the difference in, you know, your conversions and your leads. I mean, if you've got, you know, 5 terms that get 50 searches a month, which in local adds up to, you know, 250, your conversion rate 10%, let's just say, you know, 25 leads a month. And depending on the service, that can be really good for yourself or for your clients. So just make sure you're going after all those little guys just as much as you possibly can. And hopefully Herc has demonstrated how easy it is and how fast it is. And yeah, you know, this has just been happening over and over again over the last few weeks or more. It's never failed. Yeah, go back and watch this replay again, maybe. If you didn't quite catch it all, Herc does tend to go a little bit fast, but he has to. There's just so much to cover there, and we know we're recording, and you guys can come back and check it out again. So
What I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm just resubmitting, because I didn't show you that. I'm just resubmitting that keyword to the rank tracker, even though I had everybody do it live for us, and we see that everyone's saying it's about 5 or 6. Remember where we were with the shit optimization of a tag is number 9. Okay. Now we're just sending it back in. So I'm going to go over and look and see. Yeah, I go fast. Yeah, sorry. My brain thinks faster than my mouth speaks. I'll tell you that. Half the time I'm talking, I'm thinking about the thing I want to say after I've said what I've said. It's fucking weird. Okay, so it did come in. I'm not gonna answer all your guys' questions now. You'll see Chandler in here twice. One was the old one was the new one. There it is. Okay, these guys are still seeing it at number 9. Now, a lot of people are probably, I'm really glad we did this too, especially with the asking you guys to look it up, and you guys all seeing that depending on your location, the rankings can change, right? A lot of people say, well, that rank tracker's wrong. It's not wrong, okay? The rank tracker is right based on where its IP that's searching the keyword is looking it up. Just because it doesn't match what you see, it doesn't mean yours is right or theirs is wrong. It's different everywhere, and I think you guys see that now, and it's such an important thing because some people, like when they use our rank tracker and they're like, well, it's wrong, it sucks. I'm like, how do you explain that to people? It's like, listen, part of Google delivering results is based on your location, even if you're in incognito mode. Let me show you this, guys. Okay, you go incognito mode on Google, right? And I go to google.com, they still freaking know your location, and they're still serving you results on your location, even if I go incognito and I tell Google to not give me a country redirect by using NCR, right? No country redirect. So give me the base Google engine, right? Look at the bottom. It still knows I'm in Canada. It still knows. It's still going to serve me results based on my location. And that's going to change from user to user. Even someone who's like 4-hour drive from me is going to get a different result than me. They're generally going to be somewhat similar, but they're still going to change, okay? And that's why you're seeing on the rank tracker, we're looking at it and we're seeing it at number 9, okay? But when you guys are all looking at it live, you're seeing it anywhere from, I saw number 1 to number 6. And the rank tracker is saying number 9. So don't get mad at the rank tracker. The rank tracker is just like a person. It has an IP and it has a computer sitting somewhere in the world doing that search and returning the result based on the location you give it. So once again, even rank tracking numbers, guys, are not exact numbers. They are a guide. You are about number 9, right? You're sitting somewhere number 9. And that's what that means. I was kind of hoping that would be a little bit better than what it was, but it wasn't. So whatever, it doesn't matter. It might be tomorrow, who knows? So let me scroll back up to questions here. Paul says, so you don't need GMB to rank Google My Business. No, you absolutely do not need Google My Business to rank. No. The thing with Google My Business though is that if Maps results do show up and you have the ability to get into Maps results, it's just typically better, right? That's a big part. I'm not a pro at Maps. I'd like to get there and work it into a rank and rent training. If you can rank number 1 in the Maps and you're ranked number 1 in the natural SERPs, I mean, you're just gonna get more phone calls. Like even if you're paying for ads or not. Like Aquavita Pools is number 1 in the Maps and number 3 in the results. I would love to be number 1 in the natural results and number 1 in the Maps, but I'm not a Maps pro. I'm going to become a Maps pro though, because I want to know how to get that in the Maps. And then what I do is I rent out both properties. Right? So you don't need GMB to rank. For rank and rent method, I've never used GMBs because I just never took the time to learn it, but it's not important. This site does get phone calls. It's not, I never did rent or even try to rent this site out because back in 2015, when I wrote the initial guide of Pool Resurfacing Phoenix, how I found the keyword, how I built the site, yada, yada, the one that's in Supremacy Digital that you all have access to for free. Okay, things have changed a lot since then. It was 4 years ago. When I wrote the guide, I put it out there. I was like, I can't rent this site. There's like 5,000 people checking out the site, you know, and seeing what's going on and what's changing, and it's going to skew numbers and shit like that. So I never did rent this site out. It's just, it was always a guide, a case study site. I'm just amazed that it's still doing as good as it is. And the funny thing is as our tools are getting better, and as my knowledge of SEO is getting better, the site is actually, I'm slowly optimizing the site more and more, and it keeps doing better and better, which is crazy. I almost wish I had never shared this, because I could easily rent this out to a pool company in Phoenix for $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, depending on the company and my negotiation skills. It's a really valuable property. Samuel, good info, thank you. Jason McKaylick says, work third shift and so glad I stayed up for this. Oh, geez, sorry, dude, that sucks. Maybe I'll get some sleep. There's always replays. Grant, awesome training. Knows what is above the water. Lee says, I have a quick question. I pick up sites that other folks have Yoast installed on. Is there a direct code conflict, or can they both live on the site? If, Lee, you're interested in working on sites that have Yoast, but you want Project Supremacy and you want the planner, you will have to migrate your Yoast data over to Project Supremacy in order for the project planner to function. At least in the manner of, you know, if you pull in your title, your URL, and you want to edit your title and your URL, this is Project Supremacy Planner to Project Supremacy SEO box on the page connection, but it won't connect with Yoast. So all you would have to do in order to have that happen is go to your dashboard, install Project Supremacy v3, go to your dashboard, and then go to migration tab, and if Yoast is installed and active, there'll be a button here, and you can migrate all your Yoast information into Project Supremacy v3, and then everything will work tickety-boo. Brian G says, do you prefer rank and rent versus lead sales? Would leads make more money? I've never done lead sales, Brian, to be honest with you, and the reason why is I like the simplicity of the rank and rent model, where it's like, you know, it's one price, you negotiate a price and you give it to the guy, and then you don't have to sit there and classify what a qualified lead is, and then you both are scouring phone calls. Well, that one was only 50 seconds and it was supposed to be a minute, and arguments. It's like, look, it's $1,000 a month. Do you want it or not? It's just a simple transaction. It's simple, it's easy. And then, you know, if it starts getting a lot of leads, like you're working on it and the amount of leads are going up, you're in a position to renegotiate with the guy. You could switch to a per lead form. Just for me, I've never done a per lead basis, just because it's not as simple. There's more moving parts to a per lead basis. Rank and rent it's $1,000 a month. This is one bill. It's easy. John Reed says, how do you get the keywords into the project manager in the first place? So there's a lot of ways you can do that, John. What I would do, I'll kind of show you quickly right now. You can use Keyword Supremacy as a keyword research tool. You can use any of your other keyword research tools that you want. And when you're in a project, okay, if you want to add a keyword, so say, you know, you used another keyword tool and you found 4 good keywords that you want to use, then you click this little actions tab and click add new keywords, and there would be, you know, keyword 1, keyword 2, whatever, and then you just add them. And now from here, you can automate the volume and CPC and the competition lookups by selecting those keywords and then going back into this lightning bolt action tabs and saying, get me the volume and CPC, and then next, get me the keyword competition. If you already have it and you just want to write it in, you can, okay, from another tool, because looking up these metrics does cost credits. That's what these little numbers up top are for. It does cost us money, so it will cost you money. But if you have it from another tool, you can also just put them in yourself if you want, and then save it, and it'll keep them there. The other way you can do it is actually, if you start, remember when I said there's 2 ways to use the project planner. One is to take a site that already has pages and posts and just pull them into the project planner, so you can start the optimization from there. That's what I call site audits. I teach that. I set up a project called the site audit, import all the pages or posts, and then you can start your optimization process. The other thing that we can do is keyword research to start a project. So you can just call it keyword research. You can make as many projects as you want with this tool. okay? But one of them is keyword research. And what I do for that, and I'll kind of do it right now. It'll start with no groups, okay? And then what I would do if I wanted to do keyword research right here is go to automatically generate groups. And we might rename that and call it search for keywords. So enter a seed keyword, pool resurfacing Phoenix. I should do all lowercase, right? And then how many keywords do you want to pull? Well, let's get about 500. The minimum search volume 10 is good. Minimum cost per click. Let's make it $1. Make sure that people are spending money on those keywords, and then click OK. And then what that does is that's actually queuing that keyword that you put in as your seed, pool resurfacing Phoenix. It's queuing the AdWords, Google AdWords keyword planner tool for those types of keywords with the filters that you set and pulling them into this group. So I'm going to let that run for a bit. So it does take a little bit of time sometimes. Let me just go to another page and see. Let me close some of these too. Might not be done yet. Or I screwed it up. I'll show you a different site that has a research phase in it, because I do keyword research here too. For keyword research, I use multiple things. I always end up once I'm done keyword research, I always end up in Project Planner though. I'll pull the keywords into Project Planner. I'll do keyword research in the Project Planner, or I'll do keywords research with Keyword Supremacy, but it always ends up in the Project Planner. So here's drafts. So let's just assume drafts are keywords that I looked up, and what it'll do is it'll pull in groups like this. This one's been cleaned up already, but it'll pull in what it thinks are groups, and then you can just move keywords. So like, if you think this keyword, and this keyword belong in a different group, you can actually drag them from group to group to help you start organizing your keywords. You can select keywords, delete them, and then when the project's done, so once I got all my keywords, I got everything looking the way I want it to, I'll optimize it, okay, the way I want it to. And once it's optimized, this becomes like a final plan. It doesn't need to be in this draft project anymore. So what I can do from there is move to a different project. And since it's done in draft mode, I can now move it to, I always use my URL as my live mode. I move it over there. I just get it out of this keyword research phase and move it over here once it's done. Hopefully that answers your question, John. It didn't work for some reason. I don't know why. It might not be done, but yeah, you can do all kinds of things. YKey Who says, how many sites are you renting? Right now, I'm only renting 2. At the peak of my business, I was renting a whole bunch of them, but I got out of rank and rent business to get into software development, Todd, and I kind of let everything go by the wayside. But I'm getting back into it, guys. To be honest, what I'm going to do is, Todd and I are planning on putting together a whole new rank and rent course with the groups are done actually. It just took a little while longer. So here's a keyword research phase, but I'll finish my other thought first. We're creating a new rank and rent training, like a full, like from A to Z. Like some of the stuff I just showed you is just part of what's going to be in there. We'll take it even further than that. And it's going to come with the tools as part of it. So that's what we're going to do soon. So this is what a keyword research group looks like. Okay, so Google sees it as, our seed keywords pool resurfacing. Google would group their keywords like this, and these are the names of the groups. Obviously, there's no optimization to any of this stuff. It's just keyword research in specific groups that Google sees it as. So from there, I just start moving keywords around. So I would look at a big group like this, or especially see this group, it's real big. How I'd clean it up is use the word tag, and then look for like something kind of like renovations, replaster, like look for kind of keywords like those and be like, ooh, replastering, that's a group that I need to talk about. So what I would do is maybe pool heater is kind of a shit group. So I'll do like this, replaster. I do it in caps so that I know it's mine and not Google's. And then I take these two keywords that are about replastering, right? And I move them into this group. And pool heater has nothing to do with it. So now I drag that keyword out of there. And there I've got the beginnings of a new page for keywords that's targeting replaster. Then what I can do is, since I got the volume in the CPC, I can grab both those keywords, go to the actions tab for it, get the competition, which is going to tell me my golden ratios, if they're any good or not. Then I can optimize the page, put in the title, put in the description, the URL. And then once the plan is done, okay, let's say I moved it over to the live site, but now the last step is creating the page, right? This is just a plan. And you'll notice up in the top right here, it's just a box, right? What I can do is create a new page from the group. So it's creating a page for me. So what it's doing is it's creating a page based on the on-page elements that I create. Well, it's telling me you got to do a title. So it's like, you know, I'll just do it real quick. Example, title, plaster. The URL will change to, you know, get plaster. Description, blah, blah, blah. And then H1, happy, right? Okay, so save it. And you go from planning stage, keyword research, reorganization, planning to creating a new page. So this is a great way, without ever creating a word of content or setting up a new page. You've already done your keyword research, you've already done your optimization, your metrics lookups, all that stuff, and you're like, yes, I've optimized it. Boom, create the page, and now you're ready for content. You have everything in place before your content ever goes in. It's really awesome. There's a lot of ways you can use Project Planner like that. So you can see example, tire plaster. There's the stupid description. There's my H1, and the URL is get plastered. And over here, it's not showing as get plastered yet because it's in draft mode. We send the page over to a draft, and until it's live, the URL won't update. And then if I want to make changes, I can either make a change here, or I can make a change back over here, and it will update in both places for me. Walt says, stay out of the state of Washington. One of the things we're going to include in our course, Walt, I'm not going to outline how we do it, but one of the things we're going to outline is niche hunting, like the fast and easy way to find out what services in what cities are going to be the most profitable and the fastest way to do that. In my guide, in the Supremacy Digital members area, and you guys should all read that if you haven't, because even though we do things better now, that guide is still fundamentally correct. Read that. But now with the tools and the advances we've made in the tools, niche hunting, finding out what keyword you should start with, like what area, and it is so easy. And there's just ways to do it. It's going to be included in that guide. It's going to take us a while to get that all together, though. It's going to be awesome, though. It'll be freaking crazy good. Walt says there's an extension that allows you to slow down the replay because I talk too fast. I don't know what it is. These videos get uploaded to YouTube, though. So, okay, Joe says, is it better to use a high-level domain .com or .net versus a lower .info or cheaper domains TLD? Yeah, I think it is better to use them because like a .com, .net, or .org. I stick to those three for rank and rents. And the reason why is because if you're going to be shopping this out to a real client, you want to present as professional of a look as you can. So, if I had pool resurfacing.info, it's a little more trashy, and they might not want to associate their business to a .info domain. I don't know if they know much about extensions, but in the case that they do, it's a little bit more trashy. So I try to stick to the .com, .net, .org. Now, if the EMD isn't available, that's okay. Okay, you can get around EMDs. Like I'm building another site, a rank and rent site, a really big one. I'm targeting I think 120 keywords over I think 10 or 11 pages in Houston. And the main keyword is is not the domain. I just used a fancy sounding domain name, but I wanted a .com because when I go to sell it, I want it to be presented in a professional manner. So I chose something that was related to the niche that I was in that was kind of catchy. And that'll still work as long as you know how to optimize for URLs. EMDs do have a little bit of extra ranking power because the keyword's already in the domain, but the downside to EMD is that, like as you saw, poolresurfacingphoenix.com is kind of about pool resurfacing in Phoenix. So adding like repair and cleaning is a little bit of a tougher job, but it's still doable. So the advantage from the EMD, fast ranking for a single keyword, easy to do. Ways that you can implement that with for client getting is if you want to do something quick and easy, do an EMD, an exact match domain with a keyword like pool resurfacing Phoenix, build a one-page site, use the tagging scenario that I showed you guys to rank in multiple suburbs around the city that have search volume. And that's a good way to rent it out to a site, to a pool company really quickly for a pretty good price. And then say, listen, we can do this again with another domain, but we'll target different keywords. You know, we'll target pool cleaning, pool maintenance. Happy clients are easy to sell to. Bottom line, guys, happy clients are easy to sell to. If you can do it once for them, you can do it again. And then trust me, the other thing that you can do is if you do something like this and rent it out to a client and they're getting leads and phone calls and they're on page 2, because that's who you should be targeting, is people on page 2 or worse. You can say, listen, you know, I obviously know how to get stuff ranked on the first page of Google. It would be of a huge benefit to you to have both the rank and rent site that you're renting off me, number 1, 2, or 3, as well as your actual website, number 1, 2, or 3. And for an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, I can do that to your site as well, right? Easy sale. It's just with the rank and rent, you're selling a result. Like when I take this site, if I were to take this site to a company, a pool cleaning or a pool company in Phoenix, this is what I would show them. Like, hey guys, this is for rent. Well, here's where I'm ranking for this, right? I got all kinds of keywords ranking. Here's the traffic volumes of them. I'd show them the calls coming in and I'd say, I'm renting it out. It's such an easy sale because they don't need to be convinced of anything. All the data's there. Like, look, this site's generating like 6 calls a week, you know, and I'm getting more and more rankings. Do you want to rent it? It's a flipping of the switch versus, hey, you know, like give me $1,000 a month and 3 months from now something cool can happen. You know, it's hard to sell SEO to companies. It's easy to sell a site that's already ranking, especially if one of the tricks, and I know I'm going on another tangent here, guys, and this is something we'll talk about in the course. There's a lot of tricks you can do in selling. One of them is, let's say that I was targeting, just for instance, Aquavita pools, okay? With my site, I'm ranking above Aquavita pools. They're doing pretty good. So let's just use them for an example. What I could do is I could, you know, take their logo and pop it onto my site and then go talk to them, right? Be like, hey guys, go check out my site, Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. I'm ahead of you in Google. They'll know it, they'll see it. But then when they visit your site, you've got the Aquavita logo there, and they're gonna be like, yeah, it's my site. Do you want it? Or I can remove that logo and put your competitor on there. Another step that you could use, you could use another software of ours, okay? You can overlay their entire site onto your site as part of the sales process. So you can see like, guys, you know, I've got all these rankings. You know, go check them out, by the way. Go search for these things and click on my site, Pool Resurfacing Phoenix. And when they get there, they see their site. And then they're like, what the F is going on? And you're like, yeah, I did that. I can keep that on or I can take that off. There's like good tricks that you can do. Anyways. Yeah, your question was about .com. Yes, I like to use the .com, .net, or .org, not the crappy ones, because I want to present my best foot forward. Steven says, do you think this method much more successful as a technique since the BERT algo update took recently? BERT added better. I don't know. What did you think of my rankings that you saw today? That's for you, Steven, last. Guys, I don't typically, and this might be really stupid and irresponsible and ignorant of me. I don't even know what the BERT update is. I've heard the word. I haven't taken the time to go worry about it. While everyone was in groups talking about BERT and researching BERT. I was on the phone yesterday with Todd getting my site to rank for a bunch more keywords on the first page of Google. I don't care about BERT. Maybe I should. And like I said, that might be really ignorant of me to say that, but I really only care what the results are, and I'm getting them. So I mean, until something hits me and it hurts, then I'll go figure out what it is and what I need to do about it. But as of right now, I'm fine. So no, yes, Stephen, I do think the method is still, to be honest, guys, out of everything I've done, I believe rank and rent method to be, especially for a newbie, and I'll put it this way: if you're a newbie or you're inexperienced, this is the easiest way to get a result and to sell the result that you get. I just believe that. Affiliate's harder. Keywords are harder in affiliate. Affiliate's cool because you don't have to deal with any clients and shit like that. And you can still do just as well with affiliate. You just have to be that much better at keyword research. You have to understand the dynamics of how to find the keywords that nobody else are finding or optimizing for. Our tools do that. I can teach that. But as far as like the easiest type of ranking to me is a local ranking, and the easiest to sell is rank and rent because you're selling a result. Like this is easy to sell, right? Especially because I've got the phone call data backed up to back this up. Walt says, got to use browse SEO to hide where you are with multiple browser windows. Yeah, there's all kinds of tricks for that. There's that Brave browser too, which is like a crypto browser, but it's pretty cool. It's fast actually. Grant says, are you guys familiar with Local Falcon? It pings rankings in a variable radius around your target. Wonder what you think about it. I've never heard of it, Grant, but you can send us a link on that Facebook comment thing that I did today. In Project Supremacy group, I made a comment saying, what did you think of today's training? I would ask that there, and then I'll remember to answer it. Michael James says, if you post to Google My Business every day with NAP, will it help a lot? As far as I know, citations help GMBs quite a bit, Michael James. Citations, just a mention of your address is really what a citation is. It's a mention of the address that's on your GMB profile. That's not exactly what you're asking. It kind of is, but Walt says, I highly recommend the Maps Lab with Brian Willey. Yeah, Brian Willey's the man. We know. We definitely, I'm going to talk to him actually. Grant says, i.e., does the LF technique provide a more accurate picture of actual ranking than the traditional rankers? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what Local Falcon is. And I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, Grant Fox. The only number that truly pre-sale, okay, before you make a sale to a client or rent your site out, I don't care what the Google search volume is. I don't care what the competition metrics are. I don't even care where I'm ranking. And I don't even care really how much traffic I get. The only true number that truly matters is how many times is that phone ringing, right? Because that businesses don't give a shit about all this stuff. They care about their phone ringing. That's it. But one thing leads to another. Right? Good keyword research leads to good optimization, which leads to better rankings, which leads to more traffic, which if you have your page optimized correctly for call conversion leads to more phone calls, which is easier to sell. So one thing, it's like a domino effect, and you have to start at the start to knock the last domino down. The most important metric is how much is your phone call ringing. Everything you have to do in order to make that happen, get it done. But if I see something ranking at number 5, I'm not going to go out and worry about what's the right tool to get the most accurate number here, because this isn't what I'm truly concerned with. It's a representation. It's good enough. I'd love to get it to number 1. And if I see it at number 1 through my browser, someone else's browser, one tool or another, that's good enough for me. But phone call tracking is the most important thing before the sale is made, ultimately. That's my opinion. Stephen Last, are you saying you don't use SERPtech anymore for rank and rent sites? I never used SERPtech for, I never actually built SERPtech sites for rank and rent sites. Personally, when I had my rank and rent business, actually, I didn't even have SERPtech. All the SERPtech sites that I've built for you guys were all example sites. I actually do have a couple that I'm using to to push to traffic. We're actually doing a test with a expired domain for a real lead gen site with SERPTech. The thing with SERPTech is it's a very specific technique to blanket a lot of rankings. It'll help in your sales. You'll still have to, because you're targeting so many long tail keywords, it's pretty tough to optimize the pages exactly. Like for these type of keywords, like pool resurfacing Phoenix, 170 search volume a month, and even maybe these 10 ones, pool resurfacing Tempe. Actually, a SERPTech site could rank keywords like this. But for the bigger ones that start getting up there, you really have to start doing things with a little more care than SERPTech. SERPTech's a shortcut for a quick thing. It's another service I could offer a client. It's a bit different than rank and rent. So I wouldn't lead with a rank and rent SERPTech site. I'd lead with something like this and upsell a SERPTech site. You could also build a SERPTech site on a subdomain of this, as I'm thinking about shit. Just bomb it away that way. Because if you build links to this site, the domain authority is going to be awesome. And then you put a subdomain and put SERPTech on it, that'll be awesome too. Frank J says, do you monitor how many calls you get from this site a month? Yes, I do. Always. The thing with call monitoring that I taught in the guide is don't put call monitoring on until you've got at least a few page one rankings, because it's just kind of, why pay to hear that you got 0 results. Once you have a bit of rankings with keywords with traffic, you're getting a bit of traffic, then put the call tracking on. And what I do is I just send the phone calls right to a voicemail. Hey, you've reached Pool Resurfacing Phoenix, our company's busy right now, leave us a message. We'll get back to you soon. I try to make it sound as professional as possible and just save all the calls so that if I was to go rent this out to a client, I'd have them be able to listen to that stuff. Paul Greger says, why not use local Supreme with a landing page to rent it out? You could absolutely do that. That's the thing, guys. Like, I'm just showing you a few more techniques, ideas, but I mean, combine it with as many of your own as you want. Yeah, Walt says dump Yoast fast. Yeah, I like PSv3 now. Ronald, after we migrate the Yoast information, do we disable Yoast? Yes, disable it, don't delete it. The reason why is if anything is to go wrong, if you are, especially when you're working with a client and you optimize or you migrate from Yoast to Project Supremacy v3 and disable Yoast, if something goes really, really horribly wrong and their rankings tank, you want to be able to put it back to where it was to figure out why and what happened. And if you delete Yoast, I don't think you can do that. So what we recommend if you're moving to v3 and you're on a client, you disable Yoast, but you don't delete it until all the site's pages are re-indexed in Google and everything's stable and unchanged. Then you can delete it. Paul, can you rent out my site? Listen, knowing that I show this site live on a webinar, if you have a pool company in Phoenix and you're still interested in renting out this site, yes, by all means. Jana Murray says per lead is very challenging. She doesn't recommend. Neither do I. It just adds another level of difficulty that I don't like to deal with. Walt says it's not that hard to direct the calls to CallRail and send them to whomever you like, but it does require more bookkeeping. Can be more lucrative if you are in a high price niche. That's who I use. CallRail. There's call tracking metrics. There's Twilio. There's all kinds of them. I'm not sure what your comment is in response to anymore, Walt, but yeah. Once you have a CallRail number on the site, you control the number, you send it wherever you want. Then if the client cancels, you just don't direct the phone to them anymore. Greg says, hey, Herc and Todd, my day job is getting busy. I need to bounce. Thank you for a really in-depth Webby. I'll watch the replay. No problem, Greg. I see you're still here though. Joe, no EMD penalties. EMD penalties would come if you built a lot of links saying the same thing. So like my EMD pool resurfacing Phoenix. Okay, so first of all, I have to state the obvious, right, Joe? My EMD is pool resurfacing Phoenix. My keyword is heavily optimized through my title, description, and EMD, and I'm ranking #1. So no penalty there. But now if I was to build 10 backlinks and they all said pool resurfacing Phoenix, well, that's going to be a linking penalty. I believe it's called Penguin, and then I'd probably get into hot water. So you just got to be careful with how, choosing your backlinks. What is your maintenance requirement with a monthly rank and rent site? There is no maintenance requirement. It's usually based on a look, you rent the site out for a specific price until you're no longer happy, or until I believe it's making more money than what you're paying, and we'll renegotiate at that point in time. That the last, I just rented one a couple, I think 3 or 4 months ago, to a guy in Vancouver, and that was our deal. I said, listen, I'm going to rent it to you for this price right now. If we get past a certain amount of phone calls, we'll renegotiate the price. And he was happy to do it because I just rented it for cheap. And I'll just tell you right now, guys, I use that URL trick, that tagging URL trick to rank all over his city forum. And then I stopped working on it. Like really, if I wanted to increase my price with him, I'd just go after more keywords, and it would be so easy to do. I just haven't done it. Stephen Last says, I've got a Phoenix local trade lead site with a GMB. Last time I looked, want to buy the domain from me? Probably not. Maybe. You could send it to me, I'll take a look, but I mean, I've got a million rank and rents that I can work on. But you do have the GMB, which is quite interesting. Barbara Henson left, but she had a question. Project Planner page content will populate and create pages in a theme loaded on a site. No, page content is on you, not on. All that Project Planner does is handle your basic SEO elements. H1, URL, title, and description. Content is still up to you. Can you put the golden ratio in keyword supremacy results? No. It's easier to do in Project Supremacy because Project Supremacy is a lot more tame on the amount of keywords that it's pulling in. You know, like 100 at a time. And the all in title and the all in URL are the hardest part to get. So a guy that's built a whole business around the golden ratio doesn't even have a software. He searches this keyword by keyword to pull those results and puts them into a spreadsheet. So I mean, I would love to put him into keyword supremacy, Ronald. I would love to. It's just, if we did, we would lose our ability to do it. We'd get found out, blocked, and lose the ability. We got to be very, very careful with how the way we do it in our programming backend. What I would do though, Ronald, is get the keywords that you like in keyword supremacy. Oh, you know what? One thing we did do is we built, just so you can look it up quickly. Now I know it's not data mining, which is probably what you're after, and I love data mining. I know exactly what you mean. But to make it easier on you guys, I'll close some of these pages here. To make it easier, we did put in the quick check. So like, how much do I need to retire at 60 calculator? Search keyword in Google. You click this button and it opens up 4 tabs. And each one of them have a different search operator. So there's your broad match. There's your phrase match. Good keyword. There's your in title match. And there's your in URL match. So it's easy to look up. It's not data mining though. I know that you want to just like check 1,000 keywords at a time, but it's really, really hard to do. Walt Nelson says major plus for rank and rent is you own the asset. You aren't working on the client site and they stop paying you. Yeah, absolutely, Walt. I mean, owning the asset is, I mean, how did, what's his nuts there, get rich like real estate, Trump, right? Real estate has always been historically one of the best investments ever, owning real estate, because real estate appreciates in value very, very fast, and you own it. And really, rank and rent is digital real estate. You build, but the nice thing about it is it doesn't cost that much to build, you know, a property. So it costs me you know, $200 or $300 in content and hosting and shit like that to build a piece of real estate that now shows up on Google, total resurfacing Phoenix, right? So now if I rent this out to a company for $1,000 a month, as long as they're happy and paying me, I'm making pure profit on this site from that point on. And then if for any reason they close down, they don't like the service they're getting anymore, they're not getting enough calls, they cancel the deal, well, I still own the property. It goes back for rent again. I can fix, if there's an issue, I can fix it. But they stop paying me. I just turn off the call tracking. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just such a brilliant business model. Do you have any rank and rent proposal contract? I've never gone that far, Jana, with contracts. It's usually just email proposals because it's so simple. You know what I mean? It's so simple. Look, I'm going to rent this property out to you for as long as you're happy with it at this price. If they agree to that, I go in, I set up an automatic PayPal invoicing that sends them an invoice every month and they pay it. And if they don't pay it, I turn it off. And I mean, I don't get involved in contracts because the deal's so simple. You know what I mean? That might bite me in the ass one day. I don't know, but I've never had an issue. Frank J, that was the idea of SerpTech sites to overlay client sites. Yes and no, that was an option of a SerpTech site to overlay the client site. We also talked about building a landing page to overlay landing pages. There was a bunch of different options with SerpTech sites, and like I said, SerpTech still has its uses. Okay, and it's the thing about SerpTech is like they don't rank as fast as they used to. They still do. What was the last one I built here? Plush Clones, actually. I haven't checked on this one in a while, but I think it's still doing. That's because of I looked up too many all in titles too quickly from Keyword Supremacy. This gets passed right away. Well, now it's gone up and down. This one ranges between where it is now and then like 2,000 searches a month or 2,000 results. And this is basically an affiliate style build for SerpTech. So I mean, the whole SerpTech premise is just a different strategy. It could definitely add to rank and rent as a core, but selling a SerpTech site without overlaying some other client's thing onto it is a little bit tougher. If you do SerpTech sites, like we've always said, is like if you build links to them and get more traffic and you overlay something that you can track the phone calls with, that's an easier sell because like to me, the bottom line is always selling phone calls, right? Your actual phone calls to the business, not rankings, not traffic, but phone calls. So if you build up a SerpTech site enough so that you're getting phone calls and traffic with backlinks and shit, awesome. With this style of rank and rent, it's easier to like control the look of the page and the optimization. You're targeting way less keywords, typically that have way higher traffic. SerpTech to me would be a good add-on to a service like this, right? Now, there's still validity in SerpTech. It's just the sites are taking longer to rank now with Google's changes. And man, we used to have them in 24 hours, which was so impressive. But now they're taking like, I don't know, like a month to fully index. Paul says, Jana says, F-Bert. Paul says, not ignorant if you're ranking like you do. I think that was in response to me saying, I don't care about Bert. Yeah, it might be ignorant because I might get bit. Would citations help if you don't have a GMB? Well, yes and no, Paul, because I mean, as far as I know, the main purpose of a citation is to mention your GMB address, but citations typically also have a URL backlink. So backlinks help with authority and juice to your pages. So they're kind of a dual thing. So yes, citations would help you rank if they're good citations, and they'll definitely help in GMB if you're mentioning the GMB address. Terry says, which tech is best for tracking and delivering phone calls to customers? I don't know which one's best. There's CallRail, there's call tracking metrics. There's Twilio. I'm sure there's other ones out there. I use CallRail. I just like their interface. It's simple. Yeah, Callzoo has one too. But I believe with Callzoo, you have to be part of the Callzoo program. Paul says, when you put out the Rank and Rent program, can you include maps with Brian? We're definitely going to have maps figured out before we put out the course. Dave John says, will you be offering, this is so funny, Todd and I talked about this, will you be offering a done-for-you ranking service that we could rent? We were definitely going to do a done-for-you service for sites that you can, like, we'll build it and rank it for you, and then you can go out and rent it. Won't be cheap though, Dave, but to some people it'll be worth it. Stephen Lass says, not for broadcasting, so I can't say what he said next, so I'll just read it. Stephen, contact me personally. Herc Magnus on Facebook, Stephen Last. Hopefully you can still hear me. Waiki Who says, opinion on Ben Littlefield SparkZO site build rank. Don't know it. I know Ben Littlefield, but I don't know SparkZO. I don't really personally know Ben Littlefield. I think Todd knows him better than I do, but I don't know what SparkZO is. How many work hours of work would it take you to create a rank and rent site once you have the domain bought and the WordPress on the domain? Okay, well, that's a loaded question. First of all, it depends how good you are with WordPress and getting content and stuff like that. And me, less than 3 hours, three to 4 hours, I can have a 4 or 5 page site put up. Other people, maybe 10. I don't know. It depends on so many things, Stephen. It's hard to really give it a number, but I can do it really fast. I mean, I'm very methodical about the way I do things. It's almost like people create standard operating procedures. I actually have my own internal standard operating procedures for when I build a website. Like for instance, that one I was talking about in Houston, I'm going into Houston with a new site. I already have, I forget what it was, like I said, like 20, I think it's like 20 pages or 14. It's a lot. It's a lot of pages, and I have all the keyword research done, all the pages planned. All I need to do is add content, but the initial site setup, keyword research and planning all took me like 2 hours. And it's probably the biggest rank and rent I've ever done. And now to get the content written and stuff like that will take a few more hours, but posting the content doesn't take long. It's just posting content. So it depends. Frank J, so on this R&R, rank and rent, are you using in pool resurfacing Phoenix, you put original content, or can you also use properly spun content? Just remember, Frank, that if you're renting it out to a client and you have spun content on it and they see that and read that and they don't like the way that the content sits, you'll either have to have a solution for them like overlay, or you'll have to replace the content so that they're happy with it. Just always remember that. It's not just about getting the site to rank, it's also about selling the site to a client. And any decision you make, you'll have to justify or reason with your client as to why you've done it. Stephen Lass says he has a great SERPTech site still working and ranking still for me after about 3 years. Yeah, a lot of guys still have like the SERPTech sites, like once they stick, right? And I know guys are still making money in really clever niches with them. So I mean, SERPTech still works. It just doesn't work as fast as it used to. And it's just slightly different than what I'm doing here. This is more targeted. It's more focused than SERPTech. SERPTech has always been about casting a really wide net to get a lot of results and rankings fast. But then for ranking the keywords that actually have traffic, you'd either have to go in and re-optimize those pages, probably using a lot of what I taught you today, find the right page, build the page URL, and then re-optimize them and rank them like that. Then you could probably do it, maybe, I don't know. But with pool resurfacing Phoenix, EMD style, rank and rent, whatever, it's just, you're not casting a wide net. You're very, very focused in to start. But adding a SERPTech build to a subdomain of this would actually be pretty smart. It'd actually be really smart. It definitely wouldn't hurt. Steven says 3 hours. Wow, I'm quite quick too. Is writing the content actually the longest part? Yeah, typically content's the longest part. It can be keyword research and organizing the project plans, depending how good you are at using the tools and knowing how to like you know, taking a plan like this that was keyword research and turning it into a 4 or 5 page plan. Like there's literally probably 500 keywords here that I could sift through. Now I'm good at it. I know exactly what to do to turn a 500 keyword research plan into a 5-page site that's targeting 5 keywords each. It would take me about an hour of work here to have my site planned. And even the WordPress setup and all that, within the hour I could do that. But I don't write the content myself, I hire that out. So that usually I put together the content quote, put it out there, and it takes a day or 2 or 3 to get it back. So that's typically the longest part of the rank and rent process in building the site. And then ranking as well, like getting the rankings. If you're using like golden ratio stuff, I'm sure you can get a lot of keywords to rank fast, but there's typically going to be a little bit harder and higher reaching stuff like pool. Right now, it's funny that one of the groups that got deleted from this site that shouldn't have was a cleaning page. I think I know why it got deleted. Anyways, those keywords are like up in the thousands, and the competition's way more rough. So it's important to me to rank for those. So it's going to take like PBN backlinks and stuff like that to get those up there. But it's off to such a great start. Well, I shouldn't say start. It's been here since 2015, but I've only recently started re-looking at things and re-optimizing things using the new improved versions of things, of tools and techniques and shit like that. Frank J, would you have a case study from start to finish in your next rank and rent course using PSv3 project management? Yeah, actually, it's going to be based on a case study. It's going to be both. We're not 100% sure of the plan yet, concrete of what it is and what it's going to be, but I know it's this. It's going to be the rank and rent course. Some of the things that it's going to talk about are, I've kind of got the thing going ready. Number one is starting from scratch, okay? Like if you don't know where to start, how to start from scratch, find the keywords, do the projects, rank the sites, blah, 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 blah. Number two is going to be starting with an existing property, so a site that you already own that you think could do good, how to do that. Number three is we're going to talk about exact match domains versus partially exact match domains, PEMDs versus brand, or starting with expired domains. Then we're going to have, case studies of sites that I've done. We're going to do live over the shoulder builds in there. We're going to, and this is all going to be part of the package. PSv3, if you guys don't own the tools that we have, they're going to be part of the package. Like this is going to be a high level course, like really, probably the biggest thing we've ever done. No more 25-page guides, you know, like I'm talking big course, full on details of every little detail. So yeah, tons of stuff. And then webinars. Stephen Last says, I like to create content using John Leisure's text suite. It gives a keyword search volume related keyword plus full unformatted text at the top of ranked sites. Cut and paste snippets. Yeah, that's kind of what SERPtech does. It just takes your keyword, searches Google, and just takes snippets of everybody's content to form a new piece of content. But remember, in the rank and rent methodology, you have to justify your decisions for doing things, right? So if you have a site with content that is duplicated from other sites, that's easily found out, even if you're spinning, if it's spun and it's not reading very well and you're trying to sell it and they're turned off by it, you just have to have a justification for why you've chosen to do things the way you do. And really, I don't think the client's going to care as long as their phone's ringing, right? They don't care that you spun the content or that it's, you know, not fully legible, especially if you're overlaying the site or something. They just care that you're getting results for them, making their phone ring. Jana, what about monthly reporting? Can you expand on that question? What about it? Like for the client? Like, do I include it? Do I not? Like, what's your? on rankings? Like for the client, you mean? Like what do you, I don't know what you're asking specifically. No, I don't do that. I don't provide ranking reports to the clients. They don't care. They just care about how much their phone's ringing. I mean, it's funny because initially it's you use your rankings to prove, you know, that you've got rankings there, and that is enough to make them go, like, this is a proof element for when you're selling, right? It's like, look, I'm ranking for pool resurfacing Phoenix. Your business is a pool company. I'm number 2. It's getting 170 searches a month. Like, this is all stuff that they'll understand, but they don't really care. What they really, when you're showing them stuff like this, what they're thinking is like, but what's that going to do for my business? Like, what is that going to translate to? And then you say, okay, now with all this stuff that you do understand, yes, I'm there in Google. Here's the call report, right? This is how many phone calls it's getting. That's what they care about. So you don't even have to do monthly call reporting with CallRail. They get their a recording of the call by email, so it's easy to look up. Stephen Last says, agreed. I don't think my plumber has even looked at the website he ever rents. Yeah, they really don't give a shit. Just make their phone ring and they're happy. Guys, we're 2 hours and 45 minutes into this. I kind of caught up to the end of the question, so I think I'm going to just end it there because I want to go see my baby boy. What theme am I using? Doesn't even matter. Any theme that looks nice. The one that I'm using on this one is Salient, but you can use any theme. I have a different theme on almost every rank and rent. Give the baby a kiss for us. Yeah, I will do. So I'm going to go do that, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this webinar. Yeah, the rank and rent course, someone asked for a timeline on that. We honestly just started the planning of this just ever since I started getting back into rank and rent. It's going to be a while. It's going to be probably a few months before that's even ready. So in the meantime, I'll just keep you updated with cool shit that I find like this. I'll try to keep you updated with some other case studies. I'm working on some other sites that you've seen today. I'll try to keep you updated with stuff like that. But the rank and rent course that we're putting together is going to be just pure balls to the wall, actionable, step-by-step stuff with the tools. So, but it will be months. Quick, one more answer. Thanks, Samuel. He says, I'm awesome. Leroy Hodge says, for the tags, why didn't you add Arizona after each city name? Is that over optimization? No. So I could have. I maybe should have, Leroy. Really though, it always comes down to is it worth going after AZ? And it comes down to how much search volume as a guide, right? So let's look at this really quickly. Really quickly. Okay, so there's all my cities like pool resurfacing, Gilbert, Glendale, Mesa, and he's asking why didn't I add Arizona to each of those tags, right? I'm getting to my tags page here. I did for this example as we were trying to improve its rankings. If the keyword research showed, there's two things I would look at. The search volume of the pool resurfacing Chandler versus the search volume of pool resurfacing Chandler, Arizona. If one of them had 20 and the other one had 0, like when I attached Arizona, if it fell to 0, I probably wouldn't target it, but I would target it even if it said 0 and it didn't hurt my ranking for the main keyword, which is pool resurfacing Chandler. Like I would test both titles, resubmit to Google and see where the ranking went. If I fell down in the rankings by adding the word Arizona, it wouldn't be worth adding it, right? Because there's no search volume for it anyways, and it hurts my rankings. But if it didn't hurt my ranking to just have it in there, even if there was no more search volume, I would have it in there because it's just an extra piece of keyword that one day might get searched. So it just comes down to that. Does it justify, can you justify adding it in there without hurting what you're doing? And is it worth it? That's it. Okay, Leroy? Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. That was the last questions. Thanks for the training. I'll put the replay up hopefully tomorrow. Steven still has questions. Google Keyword Planner results are the only visits recorded which really used to target leads by buying AdWords on them. In my opinion, others do have the same volume. Google Keyword Planner is kind of the root of keyword research. Yes, the numbers are off, and what you just said is why. So, I mean, I say this about every data element, okay? No matter whether you're looking at volume, CPC, broad phrase, in title, in URL, or even rankings, okay? Ranking number 5, like I showed today. We all saw these sites ranking in different positions near where it was. These are guides. These are guides. These are not exacts. So you can't, I see people get pissed off about rankings being wrong or keyword numbers being wrong. And I don't, who cares? Who cares? If it's got about 50, it might be, 30, it might be 80. Who cares? Take the general number, get your work done, and make the phone ring, right? I'm not saying you, Stephen, like who cares? I'm just saying in general, right? Yeah, take it with a pinch of salt, exactly. It's just like a wind in your sail. It's just helping you choose a direction. That's all it is, okay? It's just helping you define what your focus is gonna be. All you care about is making your phone ring. That's it. It's all a moving target, Terry says. Exactly. So just use it as a guide. Even the gold bars, they're just a guide. And we proved it here today because, if those guys over on Niche Site Profits, that's all they do is follow these golden bars, they're missing out. Because I'm ranking better for the keywords right here, okay? There. Sorry, I'll sort by ranking, okay? No golden bar, no gold, red, but 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Then a bunch of golden bars, but 5, 5, 5, 5. So it's just a guide. It's just a guide. Just let it aid you, but don't live by the rule. Bend the rules. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm glad. It seems like everyone enjoyed today's webinar. Hope you learned a lot, and we'll talk to you all soon. I'll get the replay out as soon as possible. Okay, bye-bye.